Good evening. So live on okay 101.7 FM. It was Shepard Abeka Junction. Despite media, this is one of the biggest conglomerates Ghana. Now we are all fired up for 2024 general elections, parliamentary elections, presidential elections. Now more so because this year 2024 elections serious. And member video be at Sherman, you're CDD4 predict to say there will be more. In fact, I'm highlight to say more hotspots have been recorded. More hotspots. Now, what should the Ababa or parliament no between minority and majority? As they say, minority say omuye majority, majority say omuye minority. There's a Supreme Court a decision for stay of execution. It's only a temporary decision. Stay of execution is temporary and you're permanent. Stay of execution just said the substantive matter no. And one as blog at also until say substantive matter ye bedi. But ochina assembly or parliament. Moka I say to about year 2020. A do inauguration 2021 7 January because of COVID-19. Inauguration of parliament no MPs no inside Parliament House. Instead of the usual one, a friend say no, Independence Square no. More do you see? I will play the video to you. Ochina Parliament City. Security information I have picked up say NDC MPs. I hear word so omudi besi. And my mistake in some first soldiers saying court Parliament to say 2021 inauguration no. The second term of Nanado Abanye no. How many soldiers call on yes, I mistake ni biwa. Hell will break loose in Ghana. I'm not a doommonger, but I don't even want to go back to some of the messages I've seen. But discussions are also between NDC MPs, NPP MPs, because NDC MPs say NPP if one person will intimidate you with this majority minority issue. NDC also say this is the only way I'm to means to intimidate NDC MPP for no. Now MPP for who said they are also ready for all out. In fact, Ochina class nebesi or parliament no. It's a litmus test to what will happen in December 7th. So Ochina parliament is that year. The ebesi or parliament no. Actually, the ebesi 2024 December 7th. It's serious. The ayakeka kone is serious. And this is a showdown. Now, you are ready for everything. Now, see a free military for Ghana Armed Forces formula almost omuno besi. So December, January 7, 2021, no. NDC MPs, MPP, for they were come. Yeah, you know, Ghana Armed Forces soldiers, we were like, no, this is not. Because such a Ghana, ya back a history. Coming from where we are coming from, a military dictatorship. Ghana, and we don't need military dictatorship, no. Yeah, who say, ya too a bad, ya to say. 1992 constitution you come rain or shine. Yem pesto je ni bia near any governance because it's civilians important yes any. So just a back yem so just running governance it never goes well for us. To trust some can be because there is no checks and balances. Democracy na copy America and Europe no. At the core of that democracy and democratic process no, is that there's going to be checks and balances. Checks and balances, say, arms of government, parliament, presidency, and Crawford, chain. Judiciary, the idea of democracy is say, parliament for the check president and Crawford said about a judge in their own course. So, NHS the parliament, so the judiciary led by the chief justice will also check. That is the meaning of multi-party democracy. Any separation of powers. That is it. That is it. And checks and balances are very key. Obi asuma yesi enkofa democracy. Yeah, yesi ebefa democracy. And yeah, na no mo to aba. Eje 1992 constitution no. Yeah, the to Ghana for enemy yesa Rollins. Or sorry, ya no say or yeah democracy. Or yeah referendum. And Ghana for nyina majority say ane fe ye pe. And ya call democracy no. So we must abide by the rules of our democracy no. And he said, Parliament Parliament and your God on its own. The chief justice name Crawford can check Parliament. And Crawford so are not God on their own. They can also be checked by president. But the African corner or China, me see the information I have, the text messages I have from NDC MPs, almost say, how many MPs for the BCN? And Ochina, they have also done assigned almost security for to be on standby. Says Obi Nim. Now whether is the Chief Justice, whether is the Minister of National Security, whether it's Minister of Interior, whether it's Defense Minister, who Minister of Interior and Defense, MPs. So they are on in Parliament. Obia order. CFS security agencies in Parliament. That is the information I'm getting. And I'm possibly reading some of the messages because Ochina and Parliament, Monday Parliament and City, they sit on Tuesdays. Now Tuesdays almost a summer message now. Mama, you're careful. Now I know will just be a tip of the iceberg and show us say 7 December because 7 December about way. This 2024 about way we winning. Nobody can win the election straight. What will happen in this election? They say the obey more and obey carry the order of the day. Wow, when we say Africa election, people vote, but when it means you might say the age more with football, from year voting to year, from even registration to year voting to year can especially can calculation and counting. And we are not careful. I'm just sounding a warning. Now, security agencies are careful, but there should be no attempt to say these soldiers back up Parliament. Then let me play you that video that happened. So fear. The Murray what happened just 2021 inauguration of the new president and the new parliament. They see any because of this 8-year cycle, especially NDC, because NDC knows it is their time. 8 years national. Before 8 years, although that decision must be left to Ghana, the Ghanaians, the 70 million Ghanaians who are registered, they have to decide. And yeah, Obi Nebe decided. So what I say, and this is serious. I'm telling you that what I've picked up, and I've gotten all the messages are. I didn't want to read them, but maybe I'll be forced to read portions of it. No, be who say, and yeah, and then a friend saying, maybe do monging. And I'm a person may yana obiem session or answer bibisa. But you can see that people are planning issues. Say, Oman for money and see for more. A bigger problem. For instance, there's an MP who says that okay, this one is about speaker. They were discussing how Omudi speaker, because speaker and NDC want to say the Supreme Court can end Juma. MP before not so for so Omanya. A friend saying stay of execution was Supreme Court until Omoba enforcing on China. After forcing in court, there will be no enforcement in the Supreme Court. This is where the confusion is coming from. On some of their platforms, we hear discussion about how they are preparing for China. Because in the parliament has it into a coin to use today to plan. And Omoka say one of them is saying 34 constituencies there were Accra. Because Accra, you have 34 constituencies. Executives need now contributing. No one can call for like boys and boom. No more contributors can count so that they can facilitate China movement. Because this is a message that Omu discusses. And this is the plan for tomorrow. And then one of them said, are they implementing this? And I said, leadership needs now on mama and emergency man because there has to be a deliberate execution of the plan. This is also on one of the comments MPs need be making. And then but also say no military officer has any business to come to Parliament tomorrow. Any military officer who dares to come to Parliament tomorrow will be treated as a criminal. MPs are discussing this. This is the MPs discussion. No. They are also saying, okay, well, so why never contribute to 2 people for each year of the 34 constituencies? Because Parliament will Accra, so they want Accra to lead. Okay, then I'm sure the National Security and Ministry of Interior are picking up on some of these things, and they are going to deal with it. But they must, National Security and Ministry of Interior need the first and must be careful how they go around it. Because 2 months to elections, this is not what we need. In fact, from minority to majority, I think that they should be ashamed of themselves. 2 months to elections, They are what power 8 years old. They are all power. This is a shame. It's a big shame. Say 2 months to elections. Ghana for bread. NPC say they are coming to save Ghana from Ghana for home. NPP for so betwa near my papa. Nanado anybody yeso. The focus should be on those things. Niama edi infrastructure bread Ghana, not planning to attack and counter attack. Where's your attack? Where's your planning counter attack? What kind of lawlessness is this? And NPC kukuda. Munimumra, munimode. Half of the MPs in parliament, including the speaker, we are lawyers. You know how rule of law will work. Munim said the penny for a hotspot. In fact, a year friend say CDD Abraham Passe hotspot now 2020 no. I had double because Obia and Hokaya, including the over 30 people were tagged. Omu nyina so call for be retaliate this election. Obia ye bono, Obia ye plan no for 8 years. They will counter attack this election. These are the serious issues we must be thinking about. Now bread and butter na come drink for we focus on those ones. But more MPs, you are planning mayhem. Say Ochina the Amaya ready, more standby security. I'm buying to in crop also I already said to the military, but there should be no military officer in parliament tomorrow. The essence of the multi-party democracy, any civilian government they are operating just said, no military officer must go anywhere near parliament. No military officer must go anywhere near parliament. No military officer must go anywhere near parliament. That's what we should do. What I say? Because yes, I need a problem in Ghana. We should never do that. Because the things that they are saying, no, are serious. At this time, no, NDC should be the government in waiting. Oh, yeah, you must say, Ube take over. NPP Baumia should be the government in waiting. Also, yeah, what is Ube take over? Planning, systematic solutions. Now, you want penny for more journey and talk. More journey, you just want to be right by force. To be right by force. Instead of solutions, some of Buaman Kokwenyan Faswo. Just trying to be right by force. Not heading. These are the things I hear Shamo say. You must focus on the needful. Let me play you the video again. This is 2021.
Tell us something.
Yes, soldiers are women are educated if you and a police also want to educate if you. Woman every chamber name. They say my band say one say about on the start na batayaba na eni sikona koma box neto a di chat on so obule won 9 bobo boot na little be diremu actual idino no dia opportunity this project how Mr. is good about them anymore one more about the surround eye baby a ballot box no any boot no e wono then be ya say bo bi din not for the craft and road na root anymore. The NDC na e echo tam ballot box. They just want to more friend you. The only move to the day of the now one tam ballot box. Into the two of we are there. And one more you this barrier here. Emma find and process that barrier. And so the ballot box no one. You know, the say that yes, on
I call it speaker na say chairman no clerk no me who say soldier for no buy onu ye na fi chamber o.
Well, we as someone a course so now what you say? Now ya 7 January inauguration of parliament now we say course so. And that shows you says way this one was not planned though. And talk about in the election of speaker. Before ni be caught to Obama, honorable right honorable Abamba be we and a coffee way in about you. It's now that way you're not planning. And let me read you one last message from MP Obao. And one would think that Kamanupo will be more sympathetic. This MP Obao say MP does not understand any language except boot for boot. You see, he either anticipates that or he may have picked signals that there will be chaos in the chamber on Tuesday. We must not tolerate nor waver. This is MP Oba. The message in responding to the discussion and no kasa say MPP want take kasa be I just a boot for boot into a channel be facing boot for boot. What are we doing? What are we doing? Parliament now look at what all of you are doing. Ye here to do na Ghana ye to me didi dokono no cry ye say na board in 5 cedi no dokono as say ye turn 5 cedi no ye here to do na edi and also some person because way mo koye obi so be retaliate na so just abem because now no poor say me o security expert o catch say if we are not out of the rules sa cool na esi or West Africa no and shut them parade Ghana sao because any opportunity be a military bet may take you over and they will take advantage and take over. We don't know who is lying there and also had the money. Burkina BSC, Niger BSC, Mali BSC. People are also marking time on the side, looking for an opportunity to the best strike to Ghana. It's more you say no. It's parliamentary democracy. You will see the youth and some Omoka. They be Omoka Sena. A parliament form why because ya can we are Omokunto, Omokocha El Gacho. Ya two committee that I discuss yes Grasha. Before I'm back, you bet you as Grasha Momo. And yet, a man telling my bow when they be a chena Senate to Krobunibino. A Juma Krobunibin and Campus Omania Snake. Almost one almost yeah. Yodium, almost so encouraging. What kind of country are we living for our children? On my ben yeja, you know. So when I saw the messages, I was just scared. Say we should never let the C7 January being repeated. No. Because election way is not anybody's election. This election is not going to be a UBR. This election, if we are said, and yet nobody can claim say they have their thumb on this election. Nobody can claim say they have their thumb on this election. Because it's a classic indication. Say someone that to me fully crowd to say Okumase. No, it's just elections. No, people vote 80% no more Ashanti region. And that is why it is a party be a BBC because people could see now military will take over. Wow, person over power. Wow, so and military will take over. The first thing they will do is the bank this first a constitution and then create a state of emergency. That means there will be no elections. When there's a state of emergency, there will be no elections. The next time they will be talking about election, maybe about a year or two. This is how our military took over. We should not entertain anything like that. Already, say the CDD for the code for report channel. We have more than 80 hotspots. Broad daylight, broad and the police for the 20,000 Ghana cities bounty at a branch and Okute Tionoso. NDC for to mobile bro MPP car. When did we get so violent? That Ben Nagami you do this level. You know about what crowd, especially and we must not encourage this kind of behavior because about your form no baby. Penny the baby was stand by the baby or chartered flights. Hey, see one of my train or you know moment BBC pa no moko na kaya your form no yes 2020 elections see obi any one more skeniba owu election go skeniba kron ha no ba kron ha no kra no akoto therefore ankofo bebra to ma ba wie no na obekọ akoto so what I say ba hiafo ma no ye we banchi ne board ye ni kontomre ni dokro kom keke na no ye na ye de yeti bekọ akọje bo ye de yeti bekọ akọje bo na asem aba. We must be very careful and protect the parliamentary democracy no matter how bad it is. It's better than chaos. You protect kakana ye won notch na me say Ghana Armed Forces for munti ya. This is what is going on. Yes, mamu fa soldiers bi anko parliament ochina. Moma yenka asem no na asumdwe mra. Let there be sanity in Ghana system because we cramp na come wo mamembo na me call Dr. Christopher Ampedu one because he has been hammering in the need for peace constant. In fact, one of the things that Dr. Ampofo actual book cry Dr. Ampedu what your book cry is about the fact say I was here to me na yenya servant leaders ya womo be som on man no nye ne be kwakosom womo sa wo kai I be senior people for your mokui to force you didn't be the mo hu sa fanyo mark ne no ko dina omo ye nuanom omo free fa akon enti ye ne ya wo form na sabi ye kwakọ say ye ho no ye na what say very careful what is in it for us Omo kwaji S Gracia when this MPP obi enyi otwen ya adoa. Omo nyina Chief Justice Justice no mo omo nyina kwaji S Gracia. Na yen ya come there no. Ye mom ye yodium. We must be very careful. I remember Alan the NHL showdown okoye wo Kumase no. Until Alan Coke Kumase, no, that was what happened in Kumasi. I just say, ocean numbers, some nanti, especially most of them are young people. Ubi by argument, I said that to no maba. But my Dr. Ampedu was say, because we need his perspective on some of these issues. A bit me abo me ate and some as a paddock. Mama, good evening. Akwaba jaso you made so. Good. Adumara kwadok. Doc, you said the course we any MPs in Sema because what may pick it up. Even chat way messages and make MPs being come or more among themselves how they will plan Monday or Monday Parliament and it's coming on the back of Supreme Court State of Execution order not the mine and it is minority majority in Tokwa Kotuna. How do you think so? Because I can't a little over Bosumene Akotwa by December 7th. It's saying what we manage the process when you did the
Yo, but that's very me share tea for so. I want say, I rehearse someone. Ye want to say, politics ye enka adwene eta chi ni say, ye pe nipa no, anaso man no, ye di, oman no koto, oman no shira. Tina be ya, obre no how ni apinisie no hia epusa ye tumi afri mu. Unfortunately, the politics I want has nothing to do with the love for the nation and not the love for Ghanaians. And nipa both sides, the obia ye, nipa ye na say politics ye no, ni onu benya free mu, adwuma benya free mu, contract benya free mu, ana si ye di onu benya free mu, pesa ben kuminya politics. Any yo enti ni nipa yedi nyina no dwe se ebia oye o mani yedi mu nanso so wo hwɛ mu pa utimi se obi eni ho a dodo na eni ho a o mani yedi e ka on e fa on ho na ya reho sem because bad sa utimi se ti se nia ye hu no parliament se ya se nipa aboa mo ho se wo hye de besi nia ebe koso na wo hwɛ nipa who are you fighting for? Hey, oh my Ghana. Oh my, opesu be this so now pay ye die. I don't really just man interest must be paramount. I just said, Nia Eddie asumdue beba. Come ye beba. Ahu Brasia both opposition and as majority, the minority na esumunya just for the sake of mother Ghana. Tell obetime ku hu ama man no enu bom na ese hia mo dan say ne besi ahugbo bi ese eboa ma basabasa ye eba no enu eju odwe hu pa no say sa ni pay omo pe omani yedie ana say okko a ye queen ebirim okom na di wo ma to extent say by all means when ya power chese ene okom na ni ko wuo mu ene bi mo so didie na omu dia say so me free ho amo bia be didie ene masoda etira kwaye say nipa pre power not just for Ghana say Ghana yidi ni Ghana kanko na emu no onya power on say na chika na chidifo no benya adwuma onya power ebi obenya tumi ebi onya power obenya post bi enti I say person bin criminal politics bi any the interest of the nation there just say eya irakra and when I refer some say can your politics as if ni because dodo edi politicians achin enye say o man who that dream no mo dwini o na ebom no say power be do mu nsam a ni obenya free mu eno ne hia eti dodo ayi bamufo a ye nka ho ye wa chi a ye say ye de o man no hu ne ye dwene ɔman yedie ɔman kanko ɛna ehu hia yɛ no yɛ so hwan na ɛko ama yɛn hwan na ɛpre asomdwe na ma yo hwan na akoma da so sɛ no anyanmo yi mumma yɛmfa kom yɛ ne brɔyɛ ɛmra ne a yɛyɛ ho sɛ bɛyɛ a ɔman Ghana no ɛbɛkɔ kan ɛno nipa kakraa bi wɔn dwe saa so no even to say politics wodwe politics nyɛ wɔn a wɔn yɛ gentlemen politics nyɛ wɔn a wɔn so nyame politics nyɛ wɔn a wɔn ahobrɛase sɛ ɛba bɛsom politics yɛ wɔn a bebree yɛ patapaa ɛne niberefoɔ ne wɔn a kyerɛ sɛ wɔn deɛ wɔn pɛsɛmenkunya a wɔgye tumie ahwɛ ɔno ne tumie na ahodeɛ ne nneɛma wɔwɔ ama yɛ politics na yɛ awerɛhoɔ say Ghana for
but when we say ochina de na ochina no mbekọ na omanko how do you think it was 2021 omo inauguration no you say soldiers amateko ho ochina NDC MPs say soldiers ba ho omo befa ne say it's a show of force a provocation and they will have to defend themselves because omo nim say soldiers na ba because of omo say omo they will never give up their majority position no omo. That's why the Supreme Court decision, because they can appeal against a EFS and go for review for the Supreme Court EFS, a stay of execution. How do you think I was saying entertaining military for one manner, and how should it be handled, Ochna?
If you all say Niayete Wiemu in the amount for a canon, Abrahosam Kakra because meaning say see we nkwa parliament here won nipa bi na eto abama mo ansa mukudi ho say nipa no say yadwen omo ho na yadwen yiyedie a ene nka asumdwie a agye o my Ghana ebi sa mmere no sa asumdwie no ho na yebedwene ye nkoka say ye ignore completely near Supreme Court aka efi say o man ni obia di wadanse ne say constitution die ye totwene a enye yi na constitution asem a ye kan so eda Supreme Court eda bam so ono eda obetumi a kire ne a constitution e kan ye kan se to koba na obi kopra anazi wi kosi a ne ba kosi a ne se ese court enti court ni court ade ye no aya ye ka ho asem a na ese ye hwe yi pa because ye say ye cause lawlessness anania the so for call normlessness or maimu because enye obia interest ebia sapasa ye ebeba enye obia interest so obi dwin say ebia me and ebia metumi
hello doc
me wo bas
doc etio where you need to point
because ye can sasudwe ni ho a untui emebu oman anaze untumi encreate government ani nyi eyasudwa ye wo no eno na ye de kɔ ekoto aba na fe yetima elect nipa yetima stress ohun ni ayekɔ so no nka ye benya abotwe kakra na ye hu so my Ghana interest nti any parliament nipa bi a wo wo nkurasi bi a wo dwen wo ho nipa bi a wo komodi wo mo ohia wo mo nipa bi a wo masama ye mobo edie wo mato abama wo a ne ujamu se wo ye ntino your interest wo MP ho no say nipa no wo ho dadwene nipa no mo yedie wo ho ahumobro enti se sa pa so dia ene basabasa yedie esi yi fi akwa mu kra okwan bia so esi MPs honorable se na efre omo ema ochina yi asumdwie ni yedie eba omade mu no sacrifice bia ni ho what we say I say o jabi mu abebre say bia jimi say o ba bra ho ase say bia okay enye hwe na ye we dey yampene so after all how many months bosuma he e na aka ye ansa na ekoto aba mumma ye mfa ye dia ye hia ma Ghana ntinu ye nwi o ma Ghana ho se basabasa ye de okwan bia a ebe ye firi akwan mu no ese fa so etu ochina bebre dwi se da bone ye mu bia dwi se da papa efi se nipa ye MPs a represent ye no ye hwe kwan se ye nipa a dwen ye ho ye nipa a otema ye nipa asumdwie ne de suma a parliament enti no se ne ebesi bia no e feel se nka ma kom ye ne asumdwie enya adwuma ne titu pa ne se nka ne Supreme Court aka no both the speaker Ibebre ye MPs ye lawyer for me yin sis lawyer ni bia be prese near Supreme Court aka no obeto nche no near Supreme Court kan so no enye se we si bibi gina se wo asem ye ana wasem ye na mumu no wo ye fantwe ho ansa ye mfantwe ho na afie hwe asem no puma prebre enti no eye abotre asumdua esi epre 1.5 months and 2 months back ye best say pamochewa mo ye MPs because of ye dey vote ma mo ya ba mo nisa tumi amu mu ye nsuma am say mo nkokoma ye nsuma am say mo nko na afi ni am nko fa basabasa yibi emra ye die asumdue na nsuma am se Ghana asumdue no mo ma ehun hia mo na fe mo ho ban na ye mfa kwa bato so ma bato so enwi asumdue na Ghana so enko kan mai.
Okay, anyway, you obi kra send message refia no ka say emum de do ko kan ne kwan so no nti go chira the speaker o majority o minority o sense so minority 10 majority o majority 10 minority o omo fo obuo e ma the Supreme Court akan. That is your point lebo a na abi so omo hwa ma am no. Should there even be confusion about Supreme Court as a because the Supreme Court should that detect said the speaker be an ejumano ana because I say here are some okujeto or yes senior council like I say parliament yemra but omon chremra ase and a constitutional one who call law school that's one law faculty that's the first thing that you'll be taught and you'll be in parliament you're almost shemra but they don't interpret the law. Supreme Court
Exactly.
especially when there's a constitutional issue omona was so interpreting. This is a case NBC minority 10 majority so say omo de or and come court na come shirt Supreme Court assembly be Supreme Court them it will not manifest in Ochina into Ochina no mo kwa NBC episode so be kwa na majority side ho before no so omo mpene omo so I want to know how do we even handle the day.
Well, let me say the majority Afghans so can say banasa womu die womu yasumdue for intending your omobe epi omobe work out say minorities your majority akoto be majority for eti emra Supreme Court so can say sa ishe na speaker here no fantwe ho no or say banasa they will just move out. And I think no woman they assume beba because media bibi biara de basa beba die as much as possible. Obi amon ban say, yeah man, all bonzo any abre. Okay, eka no kwa nka wa ye say Burkina Faso Niger ni Mali. Moma ye ma bonsam enferre no bonsam ani ngu say okwan bi e be fa so a ye ma basa ye emma no e wo parliament yes remo mo ho ban se na be ya emma so da na ya sumdue ye nya no ye betiri akura mu akọ emre kakra ya elections be ye twa akoto aba ama ya konkan so.
Okay, I think I agree with you say say ban say chinchini we to obey minority we to obey majority one party should be as our we no ba kwa anye jimi for anye ye so it will be ba kwa working out say wo no kunu na no yere ko na bufuo ba kun free ho na nko na aboche ba for na ma ba nti one person should go out because that military dey baba biom at say the 7 January ni dey ebe ehu because one way ahwe Mama obidie kakre na I'll come to you doc about mama obidie na abrantie no kutetu a police for kwade wanted a year to no so omo we na gidigide no Okutetio. So we don't even know. So Bibaba Parliament okutetio. Because a military bound, are fully armed. If a video now, the boy, 7 January, they were fully armed in their war regalia. Free show basic form, they were armed. Obi Nimda, Obi Sabakopa, no Makotutu. So, repercussions a bit from my Bobby Subaka, and to respond any idea. So I agree with the, all kind of pastor, Omuntie, Sa, Ifutunom there, because I got 2 months, less than 2 months to elections. We don't need all this chaos. We don't need all this.
We don't need it at all.
Chaos.
Sir.
But your point, Nasa.
Intimate, oh, see, Sammy Kine, speaker, a lawyer. And I don't think the lawyer need be anywhere or no near Supreme Court, Becano, or Becca or ignore completely. A be ya. Sir, the question Uber majority for just 1.5 months. And also be minority for 1.5 months. It doesn't mean anything. If the interest of the country, Ghana, ye die, Eda ye kumaswa, which says so ye minority and now majority no, and ye no ni Ghana say ye here. Say which says a hunching as it try you more na ye near bright pete go to a bad and who dajine and you womb. The best say and Yanumo MPs are much and name parliament no. Wamu enkofa basabasa ibi ma because of my Ghana ye namu ena musim ye person wie or mine person wie or mine yedim se wo hwe krabofo Christopher absumfo ye nyina asudwie mu ne yete wo hwe various tribes okokumase before her northness or southness ye nyina yeto asudwie mu sa asudwie no we here change minority and now a majority. 80 the best stress say obi be push obi ama basabasa ya badie or kwan bia janyame onkronkro tumi so stress obi man ho kwan ma obonsam push no ko ye bibia de basabasa ye beba because Ghana e azudwe man Ghana or mine ye da so e wo twam se ye kwoto aba enti ye best say who be Ghana who be hia obia Ghana so dwe be hia ye Ghana kanko be hia ye Ghana obra bebre say ye wo mo mpeso be yi ye so hia ye e na wo so a wo mu aban mo mpeso mo to aso so wo so Ghana yi die mu ti na mo mpeso mo to aso I don't just say the paramount of Ghana who interest say ye paramount than say bibi biara a minority majority asem no eno no sansem no won fa to nchen na ye mpre o man yi bi na enko kan
yeah doc wakata pa because obi send a message when ye Satan asem and na when ye nyame asem nyankopon na ama ye nim de ne ade ne se ye fa manage o man no aye o constitution ti ye na ye pese ye book constitution so ye de ye pe eno so na be kwa kofa asem e de abre no abrante ba kwa asem o kan this is not about lawyer this is the human beings are omo aye omo de Francis Asam baby o say dog please this is not about Satan and yes Satan aye omo an omo selfish interest pusu omo and omo kwa yes dog which is wait mean all sign yourself into that's why you are bringing that one he say eh den Nyankopon na be ma asumdie to see us through the process
I don't know sa bibi out bia Ghana ye ka Ghana so bia ye wo no is because of nyamesom pa yesom no people should not underrate Ghana die ni yasum bia ye wo ye nye better o except say Ghana nyame eman a nipa pempai bo nyame suro eso ha na enu nti Yankopon so de asumdwie
hello doc
adum
doc why you need to call can repeat to point in game about it
eti enye se esase ye take nyame asumdwa o amaye no enye se because Ghana for ye special eti asumdwe ni oman a ye dance ewo titu election time kwhwe nipa edom ye fun beto ho abompaye ama oh my God Ghana say who here a Christopher I can the phobia bebre yem pon sorry say ma aso na jamu abom paye amogana sa niema nkitinkiti mu ma ye nwen se ni mahunu o maya basa ye kodi wa na esi ho ba cha say
na me say aye adwuma wa ho
eye adwuma because wow ni ye ka so dwe kodi vu aso mu obi ekoba ne say
yeah
Togo ekoba ne say etino aya ye kan nyame asem ne ye kan na obo tumi ya aya people should not take that for granted because enye nyame na adom ya nka ye ni ba bia ye so ye wo etino eka ho eni nyame so mpa so ni mu a nyame so ni ho asomdwe hene so eni hwan eni Kristo etino ye nyame firi mu na adwen se asomdwe ayepe nkoso ayehwe kan kwa ayehwe ebenya
omu nyina so kwa asori o omu kwa asori
de bia mbesati a
omu nyina agye Nyankopon di ti ade na omu mom na e pa de ekosi say we twa we di besi
because they be almost started this year almost per year every day almost per year and some almost started parliamentary process you know they don't ignore court and now judges from say almost per year na Ghana e dey ni per year ye mon per year ho enti sani man kitikiti so ehia e enti na wo mo a wo budi edim say omo pregan na yiyedi no so omo so ehun hia wo mo say Ghana enye ye mempe majority minority enye no pa na ma Ghana Ghana ne say Ghana ye wo asumdua a ede tema ede odo ede kabom ene bakoye ebreyen the such niema ma Ghana baby a ukobia akaso ye Ghana ni obuo need of the mind it's because of that sort of asumdua Yankopon dia maye we should underrate it and ye ma esete ma ye ho kwan so ma basabasa yi ba basabasa ye bi e beba no ye mu bi de bedwen se wa ma ho kwan nipa ma no ho kwan a ene obonsam so timi nya no ho kwan eye adwuma but yeah ye bon pa ye so ye does chen a ye does chen wo ma ompe Ghana yi no Ghana ye be ko ye nti ye tremo mo ma so
because me person ya dey we ba mo bi de ne ade because these are ya na your company phone and penny phone no but look at food soldiers online people obi sending message or say we will not allow me person me who say message exactly because just say food soldiers now work no cry more hardened than your friends I say you see speaker your lawyer only lawyer sem parliament. He is the speaker and the third person to assume the seat in the absence of the president and the vice president. And to want to me media kakabensem ewo. So obi these are the hard positions. So then Abante Bako so I just said Alasan Zakaria he agrees with the workers. The MPP should just leave them. So omo majority seat in the boss wa MPP for no work it out. Not to be Emra. But then I'm looking for this message. You know to say Alasan Zakaria say President Mahama supporting the NDC for 1 year now. Boot for boot. No, we don't have any evidence to that. Message is not me Mahama ni baby a MPC na plan or my so we can't say that without evidence. What I say. Obviously, who is Supreme Court so Mbabe interfere with the work of the legislature? Well, Aban Paul, you don't understand separation of government. Separation of government, just say Parliament, somebody supervises the work of Parliament. Just say, and yes, someone interfere, but they interpret the law. If the Parliament is shamra, but Parliament and they come back to Supreme Court for them to interpret it. So what I say, in they are interfering, but that is what separation. America for na yakofa, UK for na yebi yakofa. That is how they do a separation of government. Say checks and balance. Say obia into Parliament cannot be a thing God to itself. It has to be checked. Sana president and executive cannot be a thing God to themselves. They have to be checked by Parliament. Sana separation of powers concept. And just say who is Supreme Court to interfere. I think I'm most supported. When you follow politicians, say, "Many of them are Richard Sky throw article be," and then talking about say this mindset. Say, "You're done in Supreme Court, a unanimous FC." It's such a dangerous narrative. Supreme Court is there to interpret law. Court so quite two things except football. Which way we are not bet me. If the Supreme Court take a decision now, do not go and stand there and accuse Supreme Court of unanimous FC because Atoforcing case is the same Supreme Court now unanimous. They did it for Atoforcing and they acquitted him. The same court here, unanimous FC no. Did Atoforcing but about the petition against the Parliament court no win. It doesn't work like that. As I said, Bishop Salifo, the law is being applied. Now, check members work with us. I had a journalist better picture. Journalists say there's a public interest in this case, and journalists report in court every time. But Takoya was for the OCD. So, it's law nasi to the extent politicians will fool us. There's nothing like unanimous FC. Court the lose. That's just the order of the day. The court rule, the koya could do baby or moody mind this. So what I say, and yes, Chechnya, baby out of a koya and dear mouse unanimous FC. Ye demand there be there, you don't it's a dangerous narrative now more yen. Now you go ye judiciary in any matter. That is the only where ye are a war for checks and balances. You go judiciary in any matter. Now you say we are doomed. Because being a power no better, but to me like you're your pebia. Mama, careful. Send it the messages, because you are refusing to understand what rule of law and separation of government, even constitutionalism, no constitutionality. It is a whole concept about more party from penny form to more around. I'm on chairman call for no. Yes, about that. I will more pen for my table. A mark with you to trust him to move Jimmy Omo. So, you. Many messages, so I still can't find it. But we say, on MPP side, or see NDC for 1 year, almost be CNN, because almost one prepare. But I say, oh, on put out any message, NDC for the bar. Only on agree with say, I'm walking out of Parliament to know the CNN. In fact, Moses here, or say, Doc, stop talking about preaching peace. This is about justice, enforcement of the law. Obi the almost the basic. Oh, who soldier? Oh, Nadia. Oh, come by Bono, Jackson and come by Watson. Intino, mo be unfair, no, and mamma come. Okay, Banda, see if you wanted to say checks and balances. Yes, that's what I wanted. Did I say something else? And you're sorry, because that's what I want to say, checks and balances. I do Jeffrey Richard say they should sit where I am saying is that they should respect the verdict of the court. Okay, I do Jeffrey say, Obi Antana baby or what? The minority for now, to force and do man or majority. No, they should not go and sit in the majority side. And yes, I need assembly. Clifford say, why are you afraid of military intervention? They will be there to discipline the animals. Well, be an animal, be a human being or Ghana. What I say, and practicing democracy into military and democracy. The only role that military play in democracy to protect Ghana for any peacekeeping. That's the only Kofi Kuma think Supreme Court is biased. Kofi Kuma, this is a very dangerous statement I'm making. What did I say? Very dangerous statement. Once you go on that tangent, the same Supreme Court now say bias. No one to force in case no. No winning where they bias there, and I happen on where bias. When you're very careful, what you say, and some of the things that you are saying. At least all arguments, MPP believes in rule of law. The Supreme Court is the only institution that has the mandate to interpret the law, and the speaker cannot do that determination or interpret the law of Article 97G. Okay, honestly, the speaker cannot interpret it until say the Supreme Court na can enye ejuma. Sister, can you explain Article 97? Okay, me can court judgment. I think the day no more court decision. Now I got a copy of the court decision. No? So, by the way, there's whole politics about it. No. Who explain it? This is the whole issue that people don't even want to believe what the court is saying. That is so sad. It's so sad. And then Mr. George Amo, Peace Council from Penny Phony Openi Amo. I was to Mr. Camera because that's all camera nedum. Because Peace Council has been part of it was an institution being setting up to ensure that there's peace. Because they can't soon between parties. Then that any who said I was here the Peace Council over. Not at least no or mobile intermediary there. At least on the same voices are saying this in the MPP 42. A commander Kosram or your then they will come in, bring tempers down, not as we abba. So what I say, Inti Cora say cholera Augustine when I say court no omo nkoye de ehia no ono in his understanding o see de ehia LGBTQ+ law na dey abeto no the Supreme Court no omo chese omo ye serious they should deal with that case and yet court parliament dey no e no mbeka wo ni nyina ka ho but almost say case na majority for the court no it was an interim on take court procedures na say wo be mistake the LGBTQ+ is a full case so it's going through the whole process and it's also adjudication but when a majority for the court it was just a stay of execution it is just an interim procedure no the court yes yeah bibi koso say when to me anka ho asem na my lord or how we met me abas how no anywhere ensusanso na be serious anywhere nye nti monka ma ye ne so it was stay of execution it's a temporary and any permanent decision is temporary decision and that's the difference between a stay of execution any a friend saying LGBTQ+ law and no there it's a whole interpretation issue it's also what the Supreme Court did with the stay of execution was not to interpret anything was just to say that more among homeso until said a substantive case no it's a stay and no amano that it goes back to parliament and for parliament to respect the stay so that later on betimi I na do ko kan sesi ase yaka less than 2 months to election yen dey hiansa yen secure asomdwe no na de obeba power ne mra de obeko fie de obeto aso na whatever because there are so many things ahead of us nye de hia kofo nye adwuma nye enye de hia ne say ebeko nkonwa ho e parliament when it's just less than 2 months to elections. But okay, any thoughts on the dynamic of food soldiers on my hardened almost so share no mu pia mu penny for no say nyane hu say yeah when a guy when one holding when a couple when a say yes a boot for boot fire for fire or die be die it is sometimes the penny for also respond to food soldiers na work from home. So how do you want them to explain this because they say as this is what show force we are food soldiers say make this a week
no cry. Anyone say, unfortunately, we share a juma and why a ding, Nancy Maba, Enyabi, Enya, and no kahon and baby acquire food soldiers. Because food soldier and yet a juma. Nemomuno say, Uni bibi, a Obi ma bibi kakra, and no qua, ma yet, nipa ne pibia. Enti baby, the one is like, woman ebia so me galam say also nyai problem but nya ye no enfamre mu nanso so onu so timi nyai the same problem any was say food soldiers aya na nipa en kind say me my food soldier mi ko gina mu akokon ana akọ basabasa ye ebia ne me maame ne ba odi me bakro ebia ne me wo ye ana me wo mabia ne se mini ho a wo me nyanka ana me wo yiri bia obe ekunafo me ba ko a me kọ eba me se mini adwuma papa kra yi eye arechiche kese ema me yire me ma ne be di me ho ekọhye saa di ye mu politician for me se me yo mu food soldiers me ko ama wo no wo mo no tokwa ba ebia wo di ticket ebia wo di play janwa basabasa ba ye pe ono woko me wo ohiani wa ahia wo wo maame no na abutia ehwe wo se wo beko abansa na omanya bi adi no se wa anwe wo ho na wa nhwe wachi anhwe wanim na wudi ho koye se bi ye food soldier koye basabasa ye koye basa na fe ochina se empo wampira ni se ye do ko to prison ana se ye do ko to danwa na ukoya na se obai ubehu se ho ubasa ye nyina no nipa uni bi wasema ye mobo na mra wo ye no de wonkaye wo se bia obi ye bi ana kakra ya ma wunti ubeku ama sa politician no ono esumuwo ama kokun ho no ono obeye ne basa ana ti nua pa obeba ho kwan ama ni nua so akwa basa enti niema sa na ya ohia ena etwi pia bebre ekosa atibie nu enti I say abroche kwa ebimu nam desert so ni nsuo so gonum so kwa ebia wo wuo pa obewu nanso me ti bi krom a me wu nti me kompo ni me ko wu a ewuo ba ko no all die be die enti no obeye kakra obenya dinti obeye ebia na ochen wa ngu na ebia ne partner odi acha ye full soldier no wa win power na wo no woni adwuma ye no na ebia akunya adwuma na se wa win power na mpo power no kra ba saa mre no ayo bubuafo power no ba na ebia wo wawu na wo ma enyanka na ukoye aye okunafo a na wo kwaya na wo bai di ba se aya mama obi empiapia ye mama obi ensunsun ye ti ko se ke foot soldiers we obi a won so we nipa special yankopon abọ se won so wo odi nimdie ni nyansa ni obuo ni die ama nyeja mama ye nyeja ye ho se ye kokun ye ho anasi ko guye ni ase ana ye kokun ama obi oman ye police fo ye soldier fo ye wo ma asem ba o mbetumi akwaje yen na mum ye politics in ye ayesa agrodie bi a ye nyina ye die anya power ye dia accuse your mana mama na akokan mama ye mfa edu nye tokwa enko yes wo community obi ma 20 cities ana so obi ma 50 cities ana 100 cities nti ukokon ho you are more precious more valuable than 100 cities 50 cities I dey ma wo no because enewudi a ochina won kwa hu hia enia ochina na wo benya no unim ochina we nipa nyankopon di niam papa bi ebeba wa kwan mu a na wo pre ho ekoye obi foot soldier na se ukopra ana ko di dem ana so ko wu a wo do how can see na ba wabusuya mu mumma ye
MP's name politicians are Christians so be abanso nye foot soldier I don't know why foot soldiers don't even see through it the obi aba nye foot soldier obi send message say bi o ehia for ma na di nkwasiasem because last election nipa wuye 8 when him say CDD for checking be see na yam prosecute one case one case into wa wuye say bi wa wu nkwasiawo na ya ko kase techi my boy ba ko no didi mane maami dibi ne maami abubu jade boy na wuko wuko ono kwa de bystander o onye so efu soja mpo okoto na ba odi ne makota maledi ade nti odu ono techi mane maami tuma ba ansa na mato aso na stray bullet ye nkofo na omokoto kwa njina mba bi opa ne ka no ogu mane maami da dem so ho enti e all can very very serious and no na maami ba maami obi asemi a police for the 20,000 ato abranti enetito mama mbo video ni show bi na me sanko o mafo no so because this election a serious issue this election there tension na eba no it say anything can happen and people are marking time on chain doc na me atana baba na me ka bibi aba me nichu people la e bi dodo na po foreigners so they are foreigners who are more interested in so cool base or Ghana na gada border no so I market time. They want an opportunity to bring Ghana down. And if BBC Kitwebi or we are not making me take advantage, I don't do it. Because they are also West Africa and I'm on theater to Ghana and Nigeria. Yeah, they are big pillars near West Africa. I say ABC and Nigeria not for all side nature than stable. And to Ghana, and the say Ghana in back. People are not happy and they want to bring us down. Anybody at all. Anybody can take advantage of it. But my member video nature. What will make people broad daylight? Abante no say black on no kutetuo no. Dog so abante no say black no kutetuo no. Police body 20,000 opportunity so no. You can see mama ko check aka you can see etuo no in his hand. All bani nyina you can see etuo no so if you rubber bag na okuta ni mu no. Or Timoto so no see ye no join ye mama ko obiem. And you know that the way is serious because when they are captured, but according to our small arms commission, I want to say there are over 2 million etuo a kutan for. And then you say galamsey about the issue, and you say galamsey is a fine, heavily armed. Say I stop your money for crab of future that. If all these galamsey people who could take you this at this election, don't mean Jim. Now, almost say could take you in so we are heading. What do you think will happen?
Ni ebi mu bom paye si ebesi no. Eka ebi mu nko a ne basabasa ye asi. Eka ebi mu nko a ne nka ku. Nti ebi mu kasa bu kra no. Ana arewo lawyer fo bi kra kasa. No oka ku asem, no oka basabasa ye asem a na ya arewo pa. Because I ne minimo ewura fi say wo even the opportunity say obetumi practice kra no. It's because of my Ghana so bia ye wo. Enti ye was ya ni value value Ghana so due e preserve on bebre bunu adeketu bi. Why? Because one person experience bibi na at least ye kakra ye hu ni Rollins revolution e di ba ebi mu so na obreden guasie ne or say ebe bi no so no be about cool be about basabasa ye as much as possible can say about modern be free home because it is not in anybody's interest and you be interest say basabasa ye eba Ghana it is a binimu ekasa na binimu ekam sem about cool about basabasa ya na nipa no me hwe no kom say na wonim ni a woka because basabasa ye ba wo dwane afa he ene wo a wo so dwane po no hwe se na ehu ne awiye nipa ebia tuodu kan no onka ho obi onka ho obi a onam baabi ana obi a odwe no ho san no so nti se basabasa ya basabasa means lawlessness. Just obia to be yenia opema arehua nasi or say ya nasi pra ebe nipa bra bomu. Nobody can be out said we basabasa ya me nka ho because wa also nka ho no anka wa ebeka baby anka baby a ebeka unua bi anka unua a ebeka odofuo bi enti obia je safe in the midst of basabasaye nti edurumra me feel say esese ye yankasa ganafo madwemma say no ye ma obi na adaye ye ma ho kwan ma obi mfa asem bone ananse bone bi ma ya adwene mu after all ye ka politics ye ka politics ni nyina no Ghana yedie mu ntia Ghana kanko enu nti ni ye politics o hwe se na president former president Mahama travel from north and now Accra why for what reason Bagumia me say edienti is all because Ghana yedie na denti na manu hu hia say yes masa adwakasia omu ye ma nya kwa say campaign ahodo both Mahama ne Bagumia ye ma nya kwa say ye kra ye mudie mu ye kra yasumdue mu within less than 2 months yen call to aba nenia Ghana for penal yen vote to ma
very well, Doc. Very well, Doc. Doc, your point answer.
And your course why I say any crown. What the trauma na maybe so if you far better. And it's all because of us we are ye kremu. Mama no hia ye mo ho ban. Na ye kremu de ne ye ko ye ni.
Look, they okay because social media na me who said the Nigeria for can Ghana some na them say hey mo yeah some na mo kan mo kan Ghana some say jabra Ghana ye heavy bi na o de o ma bro che ni Ghana okay video bi a eh doc e call viral so for bi bu afu say na sorry maba sorry so mo be Thanksgiving adan ya o menya visa o mo ko Ghana na so for bu afu Ghana ni ya ti mo cry e we e standard here maybe an ye pele market yem personal standard you know when is but so
Because if you me chi West Africa because Samaritan me West Africa director me call West Africa countries bebre. Na woko ho now compare Ghana. Chese Ghana ya broche be bi mu. Ye tim ye hu adom anyankopon de adom ye. Nti ye bu ya sumdwie na ye bu no se de kuma bi ne ye ka basabasa ye hu asem na ebi ka ku asem na ebi ka misi hwe nyame adom ye papa ye Ghana ye special mama ye nyaja ye ho ema politician phobia wo self interest nti wo nko ayedie wo power bi a obi hia anasi position obi hia nti no mama obi na ada obi ntwe obi konia ye mo
yo doc when me fa unia ema era Georgia mo emre mo ka peace council for ho na asumdie akwa critical issue especially in this day and age doc man good penny am me das bebre so why you come here in this day and age who say wi akata ban emrante to me twitio just because of small disturbance no apa ko yin say battle we be hwe so yie pa obani am mama good evening akwa ba obani so microphone am say wadum no so mama
sorry, yeah. Meet you, Doctor. So.
Doc Ochiao.
rejo so bi nya na ho te sen
Na me dey chair we.
me de me ase
Obeni amumu na mo peace council. Me pese wo che mo role or elections. But me yen say bebre ntim asese mo peace council go mo hu die nti amo. Die nti na peace council mo ho.
Oh, me da say say we hear mra no a Act 818 no. And the chair say the Peace Council the aba men can put a say when we my try say to do two things in about 3-4 ways to facilitate and develop mechanisms to prevent, manage, and resolve conflicts. The end result is sustainable peace for the country. Into your mandate, say ye yen share ne etutu nema say ye bet me edisa nema na bo I prevent it and as yema ntokwansi na ntokwan ba so a yetimi afa kwan bi so a ana sa kwan na ebe no we need some mechanisms no yetimi use those mechanisms to prevent, to manage, and to resolve conflicts. Intenwa na peace council o man no ede abase yembe in the matters of communal conflicts like chieftaincy conflicts na de no eba the peace council is mandated emrano amaya tumi no say yemfa the two parties in conflict yemfa mombra a table, a mediating table na womo kasa the normally no our goal is to build consensus.
Okay.
Entino baako wa ha say baako wa ha na what try say obobo mo adwen na sayako benkrom na obi nea wo no se wo mienu a ebia ne wagya baako baako no so wo ebia miensa no so gya baako na obia nya bi obia so ahwe kakra bi na asomdwe aba beye mienu no entem enti sana the peace council no has been established to do about elections more I'm saying elections is one of the areas Brodebeka is a source of conflict. And about a month for about no multi peace council and Kanya and Tisakra. The emotions around Abatono and then a banasa. I won't say chieftaincy, Elkosui, a month for a Okobuno near Hafumai Mua, even Semiam region, central region, it is leading in conflicts. But emotions are not too much attached to such issues. But about 20 days, Barakro Shebu Mukrano. It naturally ignites emotions, sensitivities, etc. into Emma Adriba. Now, peace council, what we do is to use our mechanisms, to prevent any conflict, any tension. And we do so, one, by creating awareness about alternatives to violent mechanisms. And ye chair say, to say, Mamu Bidiana, a minifia, we chair no, obi tutu. But ye betcha was say, and yet true kwan, a timmy, ede address an issue that is hurting you. But obet me the idea friend be a mediation bet me. Obet me the idea friend a dialogue a bit me. Idea friend of preventive diplomacy. Obet me the nkunyasie sɛ na yɛbɛka no aka aman mu no yɛbɛtumi de atoto nneɛma soma no a yɛyɛ bi ɛno no yɛbɛkyerɛ wo sɛ no de asomdwoeɛ ba ɛno yɛbɛwie no na bia me ne me nua Dr. Ampofo na apadu ɛna yɛwɔ asɛm bi a yɛbɛwie na asomdwoeɛ bɛntɛm and that one is enduring it has created more problems. Because near Sebio, a tune crank canoa or dimrika, ebi or no copy mobi, and no no call ye bibino, Sani Pano, ne real fisada either. They be a Babana dream, or Becca Chanema, no almost so more ye, say a party been acquired as a party now here. Nebusian is a party no, or Muntimatity forever. And that will not help in sustainable peace now. Yeah, pay more mine. That is what we do. And in the event that we try to sit them down. Let me say, we have vigilante by a man who so 2019 ahead of 2020 elections. Peace Council, any National Democratic Congress in New Patriotic Party,
Money party, I can see me in Nase.
Oh, yeah, no more transfer for about 8 months. Now, I'm say, we know. Outcomes by and say we were able to come up with a roadmap for dealing with the vigilante scare. No? And a sense of why developing the Vigilante Act, Parliament, a passing act.
But I don't even say peace law by prosecute even what's vigilante law.
So be a fan in terms of Minia, any night me in Yakudro. Nay, who near cause it is any payer is a CEO, it falls within the law, the vigilante law. So if and the law says a party noir will nipa sano, or general secretary and a chairman can be held liable. So will be over finances I don't so when second one to two shares I need pano as on quest had the way no and on fanya to trust them no. And rather bet me not less than 10 years. Say true more, not less than 15 years.
So it is a way they are granting and man will be there no could you no bet me not less than 15 years.
Oh, say the vigilante law no at the nay court say he is found guilty there. Then he will be in custody not less than 15 years as the law states. And let me say, a Ghana, Yemaya Yawani made Dr. Ampeduas Bibrewa Casapa. I say, you may be a bit to me. Say, before my who buy. Say, we face Sahelian region now. Say, if you welcome us, Empire, Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, the Central Sahelian countries, no. When you are so home, spillover, no, they by a country more, and a coastal countries, no. In nature, say, ye da, a quiet bay, anybody, you can't say, cry.
And for better near quiet.
It is only I really a bit missed. It sounds if you are West Africa, no more, you know, no more from a full base, no, Fulanis, no more dorsum, West Africa, I say. Now, do Burkina Faso, a binum so Ghana. Until when you go to the northern part, no more, but my Ghana more language, is almost the same. Aha, nti no sebio menua meka twi also ka twi. So nipa no cross border na there's nothing you will see as different from nipa no Ghanaian and na yonye Ghanaian no. In fact northern part the my age ma kra ho no mo. Ye northern borders with Togo. Wo hwe omo ho no mo Ghana ha na mo a. Eye bako. There's nothing like bibi kra si ho no mo e che yentem. It is so fluid. So somebody can just come without any restrictions whatsoever. And you know, send the person be one of one, not the bad mind anymore. We should not give opportunity. Our actions and inactions should not offer any platform for any insurgent. Say, Bana, if you're more battery, I could be a MP. You see, almost estimates no more do Togo, almost do Benin, almost la Cote d'Ivoire. Oh, yes.
Sir.
From about 3 years in Nanka coastal countries, Nanka, ye ni momo. You see, I know much Ghana and Kwani cra. Yame, I boy and hope by ya. I'm saying pie here, Obi Bakas and pie be as in the Department. No, Nipa. A sense, the body Nakasano, we have a spiritual component. Ain't you know?
Exactly.
And
okay, we all can't more free baby on the back. Yeah, that's within Ghana. She showed down also in Parliament, minority, majority, and then majority not than minority than majority, and no manco. But plan on my fortune and say, Omoko would be seeing. And me share program as making kind messages are MPs among themselves, Omo din komo, especially on the minority side or madani majority side, Omo de Supreme Court member or mama ni ebia into Omo de no Omo kwa or china no kwa kotina majority. Majority body be susia mama kwan. And I compose a year of any mark and say Omo de a banisa Omo working out. It's more peace council penny. How are you intervening in a deal? Because we say in Tokaba, I'm more friend penny for the majority of minority, but we are from money on Makata. Said about inauguration, 7 January inauguration, who say so that for to share parliament. So, how are you going to intervene? Will be Biana.
Yes, I'm say a Yamia dum ye yem bibisu. Na Mimi Gideon say, or Chinano, Asumdre, Ebeba Maim. I am confident about the leaders we have. No crasem ne woman say, "Oh, the Yahweh Fourth Republic, wherever we've come at a very difficult stage, you know. Nyamima ye penny for no akukudro ne sebi your mind who do be emate me edi root trasa a biana ye komuno. Yahoko bimba kumi anymubia, I'm say our leaders passed the test. And Nra since yesterday, your name penny phobia or my mwa editing komoka kra.
Okay.
And ye kotria so kakra. Ye gidi say the laws of our country will be upheld. And the body language that I have observed today from some key actors in this matter, I mean, reassures me, and I think Ghanaians should be reassured. Say, in penning for no, or more, and to treat a minor say. Megidi said, name be a kokoswa. It gives me hope before I came home this evening. Say, the main kind of reason will prevail.
Obeni mo ma mo de mo sa share krata bi asa minority inside majority inside the watch na BBNC ana because the okay is completely opposite to messages I'm reading no.
And I can say sometimes, I mean, the politics we play in our country, no, messages from the top scarcely, trickle down to the grassroots.
Hello, Ramo. MTN internet, no. Or catch him to be use Vodafone because Vodafone is likely a fiber optic. No, but Doc, what do you think about see peace council a friend minority or my friend majority no makasa? Into Ojidi say reasoning will prevail. Do you think that because until I'm business or more almost a share crack else it will only be advisory. Not just any panel pa no befa on pa on fa. What do you think?
Well, if you want to say one thing, minimum about Ghana for say Ghana for a gentleman and gentle lady so. The composure, yango pon dia bo Ghana for basa ye ni ntokwa no ni ya famu papa o nye politics bi na manfo de be twitware na mu ama vigilante for
no, cause where you need to go back.
George Amokano, I believe the GDD papa say Ghana for by our very nature no, we cherish peace. Na me say ni Amokano betumi aba mu o chance.
Obedi no na okata na ho mane te ko na me busa say mo amfa mo san shakrata bi ase de na say ayese afutu ko awo. Enti na je se nipa na opa na obetie. Opa ontie ti majority ne minority fo antie mu na ochene kwaje gon na soja fo eba ho a ne ye ne de opani. Mo backup plan bi. How a mo be manage e no.
You see, it is always good in peace building to appeal to the conscience of people. Nipa no or then say secret to crana say or say onye. Aha, nti no se wutimi kana koma. Woman nsem kana yi a eno is more sustaining. Say onye nea ede hoye anantoko beba. I think that is where we are getting to. Na I to say na makano me gidi so china. The worst situation probably would be what Mr. Matefi, Dr. Ampeduhono. Probably there's one side would opt out. I think, in peace building, we will say.
Oh, prefer no say back ben working out, no. Nanka adobremra from.
Oh no, me de nanka me peno. Any idea for consensus building, no.
Okay.
In any peace builder, I will tell you that is the option that will last, will endure. But when it becomes difficult and the two cannot build consensual places, then things like avoidance, things like it is not lasting, but it is better than say you be escalating we are got two way and I say we are quite a confrontation, we need confrontation about that be. And I think say the options are there, they've weighed them. Where I say that's how I see it. And now I'm confident say Beko Yema or Mayano.
Who supported the idea say 2021 inauguration now? I'm buying so they in charge of security, Ministry of Interior and Defense. I'm gonna check Bambo. If I say interior, I'm gonna internal security. Bro, so do you people support say military Nebeko and police support in parliament? Because there must also be protection or parliament. Based on the 2021, the prefer that managing the same because how Abino will manage the day, no. Even about generally how Abino will manage it, will also determine how people will respond.
Yeah, and let me say here pass a military need there. The military was not set up to provide internal security. It was set up
Hello, Yeramo. Yeramo one on the network no article. Now, Richie lie or message no say it's between all die be die. Any boot for boot. Which one is which? On the professor Ghana phone call peace for peace and never boy because it be half a hard line. It won't be anyone ma ever boy. Yeramo now can some batch to our WhatsApp so.
I'm say me craba dwene you see me
because all case military anti military say omuma mambo e wo fie abonten na wo so omo ye adwuma
duty as per the arrangements we've done for ourselves is to protect the territorial boundaries of our country. Enti womono Ghana ne Burkina share so yewiemu no ene omotwuma. It is when those in charge of internal security are overwhelmed, and even those things are pre-arranged. Says then there can be some backup to support the police. And the way the friends said, the military has no business at all. Per the arrangements we have done for ourselves, per the constitution that we are using, to intervene in matters like what happened in the way I'm saying CBU and they shouldn't get into those areas at all.
But before we come, I'm say I didn't forward perceptions as a peace council. Munya he. O say nkofo a wo fie no bebre wa adwen bi say ase yanti peace council nka be wo ke kra wa nka ne ne say mo ne minority ehia mo ne majority ehia ma mo ne mpedifo akata omo nim because nkofo bebre wa adwen na ebi so na peace council for there na omo ye na ekọ asem no be say ya yanti mo nka say we see yanti mo nka election back and yetimunka what na sa perception was a peace cause that any my bonny cause amunka bi attention cause munka bi mo de amokasa at particular times pe na sa adwene no wo.
Yeah, I think it's something that we are trying to deal with. Idea yeah so hair kakra yeah hwe se ehwe kwan bi ebeti na wonim say me nefia obi a we a mediator temginafo ho nipa sa no say ukase bebre a do konsemu. In fact me ankasa bi nature as we know, I think probably God knew I was going to hold positions like this.
Yeah,
me nyobia me advance ma be she me wo hu ade no enti no me gidi say oman no na say man na che edwuma peace council say yasi. I think we haven't done well with that, but the peace council cannot be a court to pronounce judgment. Neither is it a police service with the powers to arrest or to make a declaration whether somebody is right or wrong. I'm saying 100% say yes or no. But we are trying to educate our people that in the true interpretation of act, we are supposed to be a mediating body. No we mediator so we share ukasa ye in fact ye public adjudication a court na ye ohu ana tribunals no ye but a man who say ye hia ekobi so a ombetimi a chensem no mpeninsem bi say kan kokom ombetimi aye because we didn't have until the peace council came ye wo ku bebre nanso omo nyina omo de no.
Hello, Penny. Whilst I trying the network, no, John Campbell say there must be both military and the police in Parliament tomorrow. Momun jama police for one because police for one they will be sure masuma no more conform. Alex Asumenin of the police. Police for no crowd was come Parliament ko protect to amu di chada echi and amu protect. What do you say? Obi a citizen be all right or truckrat come police for say open security. You can also do it. Nti cheda wo security di na chi a onye ebone ubetimi atro letter akoma IGP say open police security obema ba ubetua politicians pe ene ya assign omo security e o man ni detua but any ordinary person can write to the Ghana police service say upe security for and they will gladly give you security and you pay for it. So that's the kind of Ghana police service for honum. So what you say, huh? And Edward Prana said nothing will happen tomorrow. NDC will insist on being a majority. NPP for the boycotting proceedings and leave the constitution so that they can campaign for the two, because I had a parliament nakasa economy to be any other agema Iwula Balu Ebekoso. No the message was meaning so Okasama NPP for. But me prefer a year I'm mobile because of any doc also meaning someone picking up on some perception never from say as a peace council. Because I to force and send me by a for Kamahama crack can be that say I'm a peace council for Kasa. Asamo Koso Munkasa. Asamo Koso Munkasa. What is our perception from people?
Matipa Nipata. Yeah, na me say Bresu nim peace council or role play as far as peace building are concerned. Enti bibi kakra ebe koso no na hwese nka peace council beba mu na wabekasa mu ama yi atoyi but senia yenua amo eka no we say peace building no here tactical ways to go about it because this is Ghana senia utibia okasa bebre a wopewu ana wo mpe kra
now who cry
unya do to tell on issues publicly because wo de wo akoma pa na adwempa o eno de kasa but wo adwempa o kasa no obi de wato taguru mu dada we NDC ni no kasa we bua we MPP ni ntia nti ni just asem mpa wo kana enye no ho ne adwene mu party a wo belong to aye perception ya no dwen ho se ehọ na wo no enu nti no say nya botrekra entie wasama wo kan nti me feel say na yenu amo eka no wo a very unique role as far as peace building are concerned. The best they say they will be at the background senior walking wa hwe nia obi a adwen ho ne nia ye kafa ochina parliament a ehyiemu ya say obi a adwen say basabasa ebeba say ne besie nanso nia o kan say na at the background no omo eye adwuma a ocham say na manfo odwen ho no ebia kwa na manasa kra enti me feel say nia obi o madwuma no enu mumu no me feel say Ghana politics nia ayo no the best way to do it that way rather than say bibi ni a do no betumu odu anu tumu pe na manfo pe baby di wahye say na o kan hakun egwa o ka say bebre we be so we NDC ni at a point in time we MPP ni say ebetu aka dia fro hwa we di achi kwa anwa kasa kra no o ngasa bi sa na o man ya kudru areho sem but I think omo unique role a omo play ye mo mpa ma won say nyame ma omo nimdie ne nyansa na omo nkoso a enyo se na be ya sundwe a ye kramu ye be koso a akramu sa
yo I mean ja me pesa o ma final bi as kokobo bi a wo de be ma parliament for no because mpesa o man for social movies but ochina no picking up on the picking up nyina ne wan ka say futu a wo de ama no what should the MPs ni nyina speaker ni ade nyina what should they endeavor to do? They know what's what mo team din say can't say what's what mo ye echina no.
Many family that see bebre. Every say you animal Christ e o yes one say you ni o man bi aka o my Ghana ho. Any ye kan sa so a ye kan che say o my Ghana so e o my very unique in the west coast of Africa. Ne Africa nyina we are seeing na bebre hwe na o Ghana yesu ni ye tibia ni ade ya bebre hu say Ghana is very different ni say apart from say ye gentle na ye to be comport to ho no asumdue pa no would say nyame so dia che mestre MPs say sa asumdue no e na ye dia asoma omo e wo parliament after all aka only not more than even 2 months na ye kwotwaba so what majority you so minority you enya koto aba ebetumi asesa na abato na ede yanim no moma enu ehu hia yen say ye kwoto aba ye hia asundwe a ye kokoto aba na sa asundwe no emu fa kese no agent nipa a yewo oman no mu MPs we people of influence speaker we unique role what to bring these two majority minority together no very very unique above all yen say my constitution say we at the executive and say legislative and judicial no nia obia bohu ban as far as our parliamentary and democracy is concerned no constitution no this a constitution in there and mess say okwan bia ye betumi abohu ban na nia supreme court edi betu ho ama eno edi broye aba ne asundua aba no mo mess me say mo man fanya adwuma because ye po etugu a ochina bibi foforo ko ba ebe din say say pronouncement cry from ho ba e betumi ama adwuma ni nyina no ni say oh my Ghana hu hia yen oh my Ghana is so precious oh my Ghana is so valuable nipa wo mu so is so special message say moma yemfa sa odo no na yemfa nko parliament ochina na basabasa yedie yen tunu baabi na the uniqueness of Ghana moma empie ochina adeye mu na yen asumdwie ne yemfa tuma pamfira ne yenko yanim na ehye nyame so anunyam da se bebre
you dog me na wase pa be na me pese ye hwe hotspots no but that be ebe ye want because Kodey only see the report and just said na 2020 election now about 80 hotspots na I likely say obia na ho kan ye 2020 elections no obe rebate they will revenge until we are looking at elections and not just minority majority there is also a plan to revenge unfortunately security for one age so am nipa 8 no mo kan last election be si ne 8 years 4 years after elections you prosecute you tumi wie one proper case entin kofa poma twede so mo ntuma mo twen say bedru ho de ne ono so boot for boot or die be die obi twa o de besi so ho entin na what say protect asumdue na ye wo no wo hwa America fo ni omo say de omo ye omo abato nye enkofo ye omo ye so omo betuto Trump yi tuo ni ade ya hu kra na wani age UK fo to aba hu kra na wani age say da benda na ye be free o eno me hu Donald Trump na oton ade o McDonald's Odina drive through roton ade o McDonald's efe na nimi aba Kamala Harris e kwa sorry dem kwasi ada okodi ni birthday ni yanko aye de wo so obi ko chitu yanko aye de wo so obi ko buru ni yanko ye mama obi de omo ji SGH anu enum ti o omo ye di na papa bi na wo ko chitu so ho to de be ye adwuma ye da se ye da se ye na hospital na sa ni abato na ba why
yo me da se bebre
Dr. Ampeducha de wo Pentecost University e won cry ono aso achocho books particularly focuses on servant leaders say here leaders here o me ya sonfo say de Yesu bae no say the person odi kan wa himam no onye sa akola we sa na Yesu kan ye ne ya politicians the person odi kan no ya ma na yes gracia e be de no mmedi yeso abakomasem na se be yeso aya dwene wo form no o si wo kochitio say when you did 20,000 bounty at 2 so I bet you. But me, what politician crona who force a walk fight him, big obi ansumano, I Trump, Uncle any amount of bass, Uncle any amount of mosaic, you be the door for the area. Unye, who photo no politician, the Bible fee, big crow school, wabroche, war the photo net, we are asking Obi was out at Chitio Boga. Uno uncle Chitio, so watch out, Pevisa, unya visa because photo that I will put at you. Dubai visa pra wunye bi South Africa visa pra wunye bi wona udututio so me wa politician on the man na ko gwa broche mo man nya careful here am a peace council for an article but we'll fix another time and talk about hotspots no ka so omo adwuma no mo ye advices ntinye de bia no so omo no dem ti politician ndi tin MP for nya na peace council wen o so omo adwuma na nya abontene adwuma nya konkonsa adwuma omo tumi medina ho ndi konkonsa sa odi konkonsa wo kata obi entie omo na omo share kire omo tufo se de ba nema be yeye ana ma good evening ni akwaba
just afia michia
yeah joso Mama yenti me who said them majority the minority clash. Obi it just say if I tell you what I've seen the messages, any idea people have sent to me from places. Very, very private and common. Just say, I'm not planning anyway face. Where are we going?
Sister Via made that on say, I think so. Maka say, Professor no, me who did I maintaining Kadabad.
Oh, what you're planning a program, Dr. Ampedu, a Pentecost University. Yeah.
I just saw a professor. Now, me who know what I say, Ura Christopher, me a confused kakra. To me, sorry. Now, my confused kakra say, is that the correct name? But anyway, yeah, then I say, Sister Via, I think, sir, yes, you know, I'm actually happy about it in a way because, yes, yeah, democracy is about, you know, some of these things have to happen. So we will understand the boundaries of the constitution, and then, but it has to happen in an orderly manner on the amateur, not a chaotic manner. In the sense, I said they be a Supreme Court away. As some of my own of us job on thing like MBDO. Into yon say ebinom so na Professor Professor Makokwe no obi ankotwe ho manso obi ankoko to anko ka drum say papa no cry dey why ene ne nya adwene asem mbaya Supreme Court don go fresh asem.
Yeah, okay, to your point is that it's here no be the court and can your blueprint now.
Your blueprint now and ekwe anim. And into no I am who go for comparison. I'm like maybe people don't understand the way these things work. Supreme Court don't call matters and no more with asem.
In fact, any case be ample debate me ako. The case because any case as about pamo. One papa and papa so uncle they will throw you out. It's only interpretation cases debate me ako. Case I appeal from court of appeal. Yes, sir. They will not entertain you.
Yes, exactly. And you know, you know, nobody challenged it. So why is it a matter? Let's just say Uncle didn't have any issue. Everybody thought it was okay. But I'm not just say okay. As some of my now else be and then Obiko ye be the same similar yet similar because the nuances of the facts are even different on the amateur. The nuances of the facts and the timing surrounding it are different. And Obiko ye be no Obia we say no. Adie way. Yes, I don't know kwa ebi otina nye babin speaker. Ebe another speaker. Or no so ba obe follow the same queue. Otina ebi anye Haruna in the petition from within Parliament. Ebi ebe civil society be. And the petition about comma speaker of Parliament. A banner speaker no obeja to man also on because first one no MPP for the coin, right? Second one no opposition NDC MP or not the Parliament what roko. Third one they be about a private person and or the comma speaker no the comma speaker now speaker no be kasa obeja to say other 2 year by ntia yam fanye adwuma. Anything if is a baby abedu no eye say be a bit me akọ court or ama court na kire say one and the work when you cross all this awesome able to speak any no able to speak anymore. When you been speak no work and I near my ben speaker no consider crowds on with me abua. Me feel says our conflict, you know. This is a healthy conflict that advances our democracy and really establishes or pushes the frontiers of democracy to another level.
But Nanaya, before I hear Nanaya, when you say that this is something that will advance, but minority was the Supreme Court stay over speech and fire. Majority side. Not the confusion, but is that really advancing a democracy now?
No, not that kind of confusion. We are being speculative. So that has not happened on the amateur. That's me no castle share there. What we are saying is being speculative.
But that's message is not really, and these are MPs.
I won't doubt to messages, but what I'm saying is, I believe in the wisdom of MPs. He said they will let maturity prevail. They will be part of that history that will advance that democracy instead of being a part of the history that destroys it. That's the point I'm coming from. I'm giving them that benefit of the doubt. I know, sir, people have temper, people will say, but MPC, they have a lot to lose if anything goes wrong with our democracy. Now, if you saw West Gracia, no money down, so I'm a West Gracia bomb. We know my musical no money, or money discount crown saying, conform we represent you. So, I mean, that is just on a lighter note. But I think, sir, they will stand on the course of history that defined this parliament as a very unique parliament. And I think that back then, where I don't know the intention, but from where I stand, I think that back then intentional did what he did. Because he was about to become a ruling and one more consequential what is behind. He just let it blank. What back when I was smart, so be on your class I own India no. And on him say it will probably end up in this part, and it will have there will be a definitive ruling and a decision that will define the contours of that particular or the
Into a shed, no, yes, I said about case in the court.
that's my belief, because we should have been in the experience ruling no parliament, no more consequential orders beyond. I hope right now I got confused. I'm like, but you've said this. Once one kind of direct pool.
Okay, so he knew said that this is an interpretation issue that will go above to the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Okay, very well.
Sister, if you are made a I think I like this development because and this is good for political science students, good for lawyers. It's good. It opens up a lot of jurisprudence issues and constitutional issues. If he say the practicality of how a constitution sometimes run into this difficult, fine-grained areas. I mean, at this point, nobody can tell me that Babin is wrong. Nobody can tell me Makuke was wrong. Until the Supreme Court says so, I will say they are all right. So, on the amateur, if the Supreme Court says so, based on the constitutionality, then that is where finality has come to.
Okay.
And beyond that, we can now say this is the way the constitutional framers intended that it should be. But at this point, the Supreme Court ruling there, decision from Supreme Court. Nobody can tell me that Babin is wrong. Nobody can tell me Makuke is wrong. I don't know who is wrong. I will know who is wrong.
Because this was also an interim, the stay of execution. They didn't even go into the matter.
Exactly. I don't know who is wrong. I want to see who is wrong, and I want to see how Supreme Court in the nuances of the facts of the previous one, this one, and how to interpret it to make logical sense to advance the stability of the state.
I mean, now, so maybe na K, na A, na AK. Or see, na it's always refreshing to listen to your voice, because I almost when you that had MPP full soldiers, they say, hey, but you're wrong. But then what you're saying is this is only an interim decision by the Supreme Court. You don't know what to say, but you are looking for a Supreme Court finality decision so that going forward. No, this is how Parliament will be guided because interpretation of almost set standard no at all. The end of that's a baby. Now, money about me, more Alan showdown come out, come say.
Alan
video no cause Alan video pa or myself to say and I want people for no home this year.
Sister,
but 80% na mo pay come say na sanka. Let me look for the video because the video was just there. Me who be say Alan well, we need Kumasi Kwanu and we need reading there. Your boy man at it. Mo che be chemo no.
Therefore, okay, so we can't say 500,000 billion. It was 300,000 it will be 50,000 more on or do the kakra into the face was the oil so we numbers we need and this for motor chin as for the come.
Oh, nothing when you candidate, the candidate, a mobile supporters. News.
The master, you ever heard of real goods?
That's you. Nana, that's a baby. I am about your good evening.
Yeah.
But I want to say
good evening from your end. Yeah.
Nyamiadum. Good. But you
I'm more about so Juma Power Yamefia.
Yeah, that's it.
Yamin Kosun Kromusa na Omo holding and in India and find your Juma. Say Ghana assume you want some and it is Yaba yeta na may share him in the Pekua, Sisia no mining in any domoso. The political leaders no, ya constituents, Shano. Sisiano, we MP, the Abbey, a hanumuna, the respect of rule of law, no. I was say it me a showcase. So, say, call to penny, a war no my shem church and remu mayeno, and says, stay in Tibia or the stay of execution to a year, speaker judgment or the buyer so. And to me, who is say, also by this time, the MPs in ano, enya that a okay, fine, yen share in Chimua, no, the Supreme Court was the bedding.
Okay,
because no matter what, we cannot trade the peace of Ghana for anything. Mefia last week me call the high school na me coach radio ho na me call na teacher no ho no onu mo ye the friend saying one of the teacher students no be me say adena Cote d'Ivoire I say basabasesi I think say na doc kan ho asem and Mr. Amonso kan ho asem Cote d'Ivoire Burkina ni ade. What about Ghana? What is so special about Ghana? Then I told him Ghana we is too special, we have peace. If we don't have anything at all, we have peace. We got our peace. We don't have anything at all, but we got our peace. So it seems that a lot of people are worried about Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, those our neighboring countries. There are 1, 2 chaotic, we say incidents. But Ghana, yeah, the piano you cry and going forward. The youth of Ghana, no, I dear Bakwa, person Ghana for your membering in Ayati and once and say, and yes, be a sabi, you be able to find Effie Ghana, Babu, the Bob Brentino, now the base of Ghana and fire. We are our as on your union papa, only woman, but any whimsical promises by a politician, be our dear mount as a youth. Say a buying bar, my buying winia, stay in a major, and no, into total trust in it. My friend, you yourself, you are a true failure. It means you don't know what you are doing. Because Mafia, you bear witness. You who are buying by MPP are buying by you from 2017. You buy ye MPP are buying you buy ye. Minimum MPP for Mafia uni bebre and the crowd bebre cry. Ebiana ye ralan was it be any ye mateme home. We say you wouldn't say will be a boss here the amount and yes I boss. So who said it?
And you are saying some support a thing the politicians need to not two matum. Wait a minute,
it's never going to happen.
Before one to me and Chocotera. Yes, if you suba to betche a NDC bottom, open case when we are to mean prosecuting ye. Before Sabayo.
If you are better, what you near to Miminia when DC, the Minia Banocochiminia. It's never going to happen. We are not in Asia, we are not in China. So who said it here? My main family example. Me figure na that make actual MPP communication director came on that. Me admission or Kent State to do my PhD, to do my doctorate. Me fight ya me scholarship. So
why your scholarship?
Me scholarship, my own government.
And to get fund.
I tell you,
it's near the get fund.
Me say, Kobusa me MP.
Communication, MPP communication director.
I hope me say. Kobusa, may say with the Kobusa Miami MP, yes.
Meanwhile, you don't even need to be MPP communication. That you are a citizen. I'm
a citizen. Yes, I got the admission at Kent State University. Yes, but me that support. So at the end of the day, I decided to say, okay, fine. Me baba ye juma, and I just minya the tree. I me da Alaska had my make my di.
Then Alaska away.
Alaska I'm away.
Now what you compare the Alaska no one.
We are much oh.
But I send the money.
Yeah, the extra weather no. Oh, yeah, the extra weather no.
Alaska.
Yeah.
Afghanistan no more.
Alaska. Na bibi ni o kan ho.
Oh, baby, oh, Uzake ron catch I be before her.
Afghanistan hasn't power.
Afghanistan okay catch ron.
Afghanistan hasn't power.
Afghanistan, Iraq, you see,
Ghana.
I see, Alaska.
You see, but here working, I can get the money. I can do my PhD online. At the end of the day, 4 years, 5 years, I get my PhD. If I want to come back home and teach or lecture at the university, I got my PhD. I got my certificate. I can come and do my work. You see how it is. And you to politicians, no, what's the day? Please find your way. What you think you want to do. If the system you operate, you fit into it. But say politicians say, oh, me ba me you say me ba NDC ba ye sa NDC for be brain no musu party no kura me jai party makoye say enu to catch say treat you say be me dem anu si no ye nua yen wofa ese edu nketia owoma me ami nua pani ba
onya candidate say ne ba ko be ko parliament.
Very good. Owoma ye Ramahama owoma enti sabe Mafia when if you do your penny see me, when if you odi Ghana politics a chi, what we say MP biba, and a minister biba, and a president biba, elko jogging that.
Nothing, I'm going walk, and a bougie walk, a bougie walk.
What in the car, when I be away from back, you know, that's how it is. So it is time that we, the youth of Ghana, need to be more wise enough. So,
okay, so I have a point to say, Ochina minority, majority, and how Mbaka class, and my youth to be a fan of that's why all Kako say.
Me say, and yet, ye need Hanomuna, Omodi Ghana, called the highest a place, 2021, our parliament. No more military enter parliament, which was the most dangerous thing ever in the history of Ghana. We am at that particular moment, you know, not democracy, no rule of law, not constitution of Ghana, and yet you may be. The moment military entered parliament, it means that the constitution of Ghana was boycott. So in Ghana, I mean the dog Ghana, naka soldier for the go the soldier for the war me ko ra so no be wa dwen say o person yeku a naka hona naka kunisi because you need president. You need president, you need speaker of parliament. At that particular day, soldier for na wo hono no
because we are swearing in a new parliament, it's true. So there was a vacuum, a short vacuum.
Yeah, say. Enti ye best wo pa MP so o chiro mo kodi o mudwuma no omo aye na afofo we ni nua no we ni nyonko ni we abugina po ho John gina po ho anuafo mienu omo nyina hanya de on be kontokwa enya de on ba ko bibi omo bi o makodi di o makosere. So the youth should be woken up and shouldn't engage themselves emotionally, shouldn't invest their emotions into this. Now, creative problem. Sabi I don't the day you chew kotuma. Maame no papa otie kure bi ase no. Ono na sisi o san be pre akopesi ko de ba bibiu. Ye be sre Ghana youth no. Omo me ma fom. Na at least ye mo nyame mpa na de ye no. Awade ntom esupan so. I think say be boy nyina. That's me.
Ohini maame no atoba me share one bato. You go say private chat bi or bato send them number why me here. Cuz I need to do a whole interview with you and talk to you about Alaska. Then of course Alaska. We go Mati say about 11 so Alaska. So I'm very fascinated about Alaska. I'm
okay.
Send my number, that's baby.
All right. I will do that.
Hey, okay.
Yes, if you
are your official. Why you have to tell your class prefect? Official.
If you are sure. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but if you ask no we opinion now the baby any say decision be or not so yeah or say we think it twice. Abambabe obey the West Ghana Parliament obey West speaker. Oh yeah.
Wow. The time of crashing to obey saying.
Or your West speaker Ghana's Parliament because if you have Justice Dia Fanan by by
Alajete, I think after Justice Dia Fanan then Alajete then Begina City Hughes
Bamford
Ado and sana my kokwe
by the free a voter region.
Oh yeah, almighty, oh yeah, do
sure Obia party or but share Mrashebeduma, the real no musitiano. Omuya fair to everybody. Steph ya Babin, not or ya aware say assembly or court, no name. No ya aware. I find your mark in Scotland. Emma Tuesday no, almost serve Emma no can say Chief Justice say, "Mama yen serve on Tuesdays, any Wednesdays, yen serve on Mondays. Into no ya way. On say LGBT aseme by emrasha bedwem for shame rana o manpenyo so sign aseme no kan. Also obi the assembly court. Enti on to me sign ebi na esi no because assembly or court as if you also udru hu mienu.
This is a movie in Ansana.
Am I a really Ansana or the ruling near the Abba? But say nipa bi nso ka say na Michael Kwe bia Michael Kwe dia no different from this. Sabi we no Cynthia Morrison ne other aka no MPP party ne NDC party and Trumbrel say free party ni. Ye Trumbrel wa na wo take action. Enya de obi di aba na oba abegyina so. But Steph ya de ma yefa no kranko. Na Steph ya na wo ka bi say MPs ne so omo be de omba kontokwa. Steph ya de omba kun because afenyo markings waka anopo kan o say basa omo be free ho amomo. Ombe free ho no. Chamber o. Ena enwumre so asen abeka say Supreme Court aserve omo Parliament. Ya serve omo so far say ya serve mo de you know. Enti samo kwatra aka 2 weeks na mo sorry o. We are majority 2 weeks ade na mo de koye. 2 weeks Steph ya muntimi mfa nye hwe. Enti the NDC for you know.
Why is all this noise up and down here dey na show down here? Why?
Aka 2 weeks pe. Na mo sorry. Mo koye mo campaign. Mo sorry akoye mo campaign. Ti we no dede we amuye Steph ya eni hwa yenfa.
Mo ye dede bi. Mo MPP before mo ye na mo
before
be 2 weeks. Why are you even bothering yourself? About going
to yourself, Steph ya emra de say emra. MP before kontokwa. Omo kontokwa.
Because court now wasting time to go to court now. Why are you going to court?
No. Nana ya obeka say wote. Michael Kwe de na esi ye no, sanka obi de court anka we nka e bia nka we nka ensisa.
Okay.
Oh, Sister Fianti wako court no do no ebeboa in future e bia no ebeboa na Sister Fianti mi bisa wasemo. Sister Fianti anasa mebo Manchester United. Na say makwa sign say next year me kobo Chelsea a. Obetimi aka chrem say season we no Manchester na me wo no mintimi mu ana.
Depending on contract or contract or contract.
No, by my sense next season I make ko.
And they say you are free.
My cousin or Chelsea say next season me kobo Chelsea. But me Manchester United met me Astra met me abo.
Well, okay, football rules and regulations are different from Parliament.
Oh, Steph, you are different. Sometimes a common sense. Steph, you say your Supreme Court, your law see. Near me do almost say decision be or no make here. At the dead baba, and your room maybe out to the assassin, no, to me was time to me a kind of her. Nana, I call a Supreme Court. Ya to abewe odi court. Steph ye na ye ni bi ekosi ye. Ba na msana o man page o mahama we yi ministers na ade awie no. Supreme Court omo ye ase no star bi ma John Mahama say on transfer wini.
No kwai na omo to ye omo se wa wini nya
so Steph ye na ye hu Steph ya sabe ye na ye hu de course.
Aye ma go ti makanda da wo mi ncho ni mu se enya by force o court.
Steph ye na ye koyenim. Steph ye na ye koyenim. Enti niam bi how ye panyin na say decision bi ona wo take asabi o sa wo dwen ho. Pastor Fia obi nso be kan asem say emoa na bewu ba na oni nipa na nya adwen. Steph no kra
language be on my answer.
Steph no kra ba say wo kasa wo kasa wo mo mbesa no wo mu nim nyansa. Na Steph sabi o Steph sabi mi ke amitie. Na wo ye MPP wo ye NDC no abegina ka chrem say memra na ye nkoko ntokwa. Na me kona me kwawu asabi Steph asabi me nya aboa. Steph nya asabi no wom. Onu agya na ire ne ma ho na wo fa asefo na ebusuafo. Ni e be fro se bra na be kuntokwa na wo su di akire watwe sika ne kontiba. Abranso ahunso we bia wo kra na wo didi ma wo busua bi di. Wo na wo hwe o maame na wo kwa akokuntokwa.
Yo.
Kwa ba so minister you ka say onye visa ma kra na onu kra no onje because odi ba gino odi ba jama ne ma. Omu nyina no Steph ya omu nyina ma ekromi ha. Omu wo UK, America and Canada. Omu do omu ma no omu office mo ba begu ya sabi. Ukwa club you see them. And sabi omu din se hu okromi ya.
Aye ukwa club ni bi ohun.
This of ya se matna okromi ya che. Club ni ade London class Steph ya se na meja makobe bre.
Oxford Street on it. There's a hard on two agro.
Oxford Street saw this. And Stefia Bebre. Baby, I listen. Stefia, oh, Stefia, Bible is here, so I'm oh, Oba here now, baby, also do it. Obi can now so nya biaka. Stefia, man a Google Chrome here. And I sabi say, who no mudi no Chrome here. The cars are no. And so now what Ghana stuff you not come crowd there. Now am I only number for say both MPP and EC. Branaba kunto kwana sabu kona ko wa. Stuff you sabi onya abua.
You o do apa ke support the idea and so china no. Mo bi anko di politics here to parliament.
Apanyo market strike kan say dru omo be free e ho de amo omo be sorry. E de amo because stuff you hu here say mukunto kwa yesi ya be so mu hine ebi wi ballot paper ne ebi twe eyi blade di twa stuff you na enim kwase.
Yeah, true.
Oh, so ko ni stuff you am dance.
Yeah, that's it, baby. Yeah, that's it. Because no be bana pay and BBC ni CNN say Ghana pan ya je ni gwase ne. Yeah, we about today or parliament. One it mama good evening akwaba.
Good sister, good evening. Me pacho. I hope say nyame adom ho ye de.
Adomara kwa so ye.
Nyame asi bibia boko. Me pese me question though a rhetorical, but me pese mbusa question be said. What was the basis? Your friend is a minority. A believe say now no omo majority. Speaker
decision on the man pronouncement or your house on say. So I have 4 MPs, no. So I'm co-independent there because in Parliament, no, they are there representing their parties.
So I know, but minimum say a rhetorical
question. Okay.
The difference in say, sir, rule now rule here, no. Where does it take its source from? Is it not
parliamentary rules, parliamentary regulations?
Oh, sister, you don't need to answer.
Okay.
Maybe on the case, it takes its source from the Constitution. And your Constitution, and backbone, speaker backbone, the opportunity say, Otimi Rusa, and money be favor NDC. Is that not the case?
Yeah, that is power emanates from the Constitution. That's right.
Good. And the power emanates from the Constitution. Now the Constitution na jinaso rule now what the bima. On what basis na the same Constitution as we say no, what's them now can ye nyintum eno de wo se wonyin eno de wo mfa.
Was there nothing at Supreme Court or no? Say, education.
Me pachotina mesinya to was here no. Sometimes the money here is say you are using in law. There's something called approbate and reprobate. Untimi enka say may approbate as and reprobate at the same time. The law now wujina so no. Eye constitution na wujina so. And now say what dear dibem. And now will be no problem with the debate. My challenge and the power ne what constitution in my baby ma or to me ma with the debate. No, the same power this one will be power. So no so to me overrule who decision now was Debbie who would the end of meaning to. But back when a woman me side in the end of major tomb. Well, yes, sir. Is it not in contravention to the rules? Wow, Kurano. Wow, Quran is, are you being fair? Because there's something called equity. Equity, no, it's yes, he who comes to equity must come with clear hands. And it's a meme nearby, many women who are sem. What seek justice na quality ame. Mantrim kontiba, mantrim se kind. Me say no problem. You will higher authority. In law, you will be a friend of common law principles. And now, you can say case law. All these things are there. They know it. And it's a nyamia dom. Na se bi obi so an kasa one day or their court kesiye. Na nyamia dom yesi court ne say. and your wood and young train. So young Cassia, your boot your crowd. Yes, yen stay with the mumra my young cat semono. Ukwana udibima. Are you not still on your majority?
Okay, 2 points. I was at a parliament a respected Supreme Court decision.
That's it.
But to be fair, Kasai so far, I think I have to force
exactly.
they don't care about
Kasai. But anti Oma careful analyzing Bagbeno. A lot of people are looking at him tomorrow. The action obetekibia, it has a consequential effect.
Okay.
The reason being said, Sabat ben yet or your law unto himself. I think we remember what happened to them. They thought that they were law, they were this, they were that. Omukwe Supreme Court, no. That is when say sebe no mutime so omo kura nke bi omo so omo. Sometimes we are just making people feel big. Why do you on the be say person champion ma because of politics intino ebi a champion no be a say me ho but when a law emrane chiwa na be ye won kwa what is the point? Because Supreme Court ometimasi esebia babi ye bibia ometimachane content. Because if the law if the supreme law of the state said the whole Ghana no enipa na yemamufo na power no, the power reside in the people. Yatuaba no yese President Kufuor na wini but onumpo emra ni kire se ontimi mu Supreme Court orders so. What the funny say over 51% plus one a vote to a man. Emra ni say one no kurana majority ni one side no. Ontimi mu power no ya the Ghana mra nyina sia hye nsam bibia all the time wo kan ha. Na se mra ni kire se wonu bu mra ni so a yetimi de ne koto yetimi impeach ni sa de ne to afiase. How much more wuna yanto abama? Okay.
And point so what do you what so Ochina Babin should respect the law.
Yes,
they should
because respecting the decision. It means one thing about it, say if a country don't respect the rule of law, no, say it brings anarchy and chaos. Am I right? And if it brings chaos, and no na okay. And then a man your friend no I peace cancer news or whatever that is what he was trying to put across. Ghana is respected democracy. And where do we want to make it look say at least BBB aka form sorry to say former aka just less than 2 months. Less than 2 months in baby when declare na ye day. And okay, what declare we no problem. What take that decision? But say the order, but why don't you respect it? Like I was saying earlier on, say tomorrow or no to me side now order say because or no almost ma order. And you only the one declare say where you say and the same what can say where your minority a majority. And what about a China? Say minority one no majority side ya. And when the one who to me say or free ho say a bag me. And it's all baby in one, Shana one making sure say, or be free what they are. Said then you are in breach of the I can't say the constitution, and the Supreme Court orders in so that means a wunya then who disobey the Supreme Court orders, and the Supreme Court orders once you disobey no after all. Sabia says your man chua so now we ufri I can't say by 7th of January.
The Supreme Court can cite you for contempt, and
yes, no more citing. What do you mean? Funny say what they call there and no back can say me Parliament and 2 Timmy Yamashi. Now, when Timmy Yamashi no more change, now you're 2 about now free speaker, and so I can't they call you back.
Okay.
But I just say very fortunately we all learn about these practices. Me when he said the air corner a boa magana ye challenge because Ghana democracy no and there are so many rules and near a what bylaw I can't say a what constitution anymore. At least ye be challenge and to the more na ye challenge constitution some sort of at can say entrenched position be say no e boa ma ye democracy ni so ye den enyini and the man na ye ne was ye ne so no ye ti democracy principle no so ase and I just hope say whatever the case you know cool heads man calm down and what say almost ye na at least almost preserve say ye wo maame no ye wo papa no e bia ye no bia be dia brochire be ye wonua no mo ho ye wo faase no mo ho ye we nana no mo ho ye
that's your point.
They just need to protect
them. Why? I mean, baby, I see I'm a cool hair, Simranya, sir. Honorable Baby, inciting for contempt. The connected to Supreme Court as some kind. Watch that. I feel any pa intentionally abusu. I've been patcho. Good evening.
Good evening, Stephia. Judicial.
I don't hear there. Adum.
Adum. You said in your city any day, me Judicial Ghana no. Bibi en Sichina. And earlier on an open meeting Peace FM senior colleague Sifakan interview Fayo Markins. A man can say whatever be no on be work out or no jinemo can say on base and on any colleagues nakasa. Also the Biana man for there's difference between MPP and DC. Mostly no in the terms of CBI, sorry to unsend this MPP for mostly no. Imagine no, ye sober reflection. As a DBA no, say, withdraw.
Oh yeah, sure. So,
if we throw no matter how it is, no, but on the scale of reference, no, I would tell you, say, MPP for near like in Yamaninka. What happened is, even said, Honorable Abin Babin, so I respected the court in the Kaina. Or go back to ye letting and on Sabasabasisi. But Sabasanisi count to one ballot box, young count to the other one. Unse Emre will be the court to Casse. Since a young count in a year, yet me and letting so a year. Kiabasa to speaker. So away, but most Ghanaians in the move by MPP. Say ye two abano majority obi amoto ye me fan say 100 nipa 100 and I say 270 whatever no any nipa 200 kratuma on ye kan ye hu say 200 ye nyan kan 70 ni nko ade obetim de akokot
because I was say kan ni nyina ya all the ballots
exactly enti babin court no obi anya ohwe but omu yusu if ye nyan san as whatever it is no e ma wo be what I'm saying is say china nyame ya aduma to me, my best knowledge, we see a China. Ghanaians, ye pedid kind of you see, but Danny Drew, they will do the need.
And I then 7 January in ABC.
Once and no to once and make us say, they see, I'm for a bashi woman. We are seeing the way of behavior. Obi o coffee and a year bit addressing, I don't acquire sad you see, oh, good men must say, and a generation of me. Some quiet idea me dream me maho. Social media be a no case some can't be a minimum such no me baby who can say a begumen massy, me family begumen massy. It's no ma baby who ya coffee no. Their family will call them if you say a Tama OMP
Carlos
forever and ever will be noon who I saw yes I did.
Senti no so on kobium no say mo fama de on kobium.
Again, because of who said, no, and at the point, also to me, I did no one knew, but I know just I could be. It makes you to reason, say, oh, I do, you mean you be, but I'm sure you say, it's not nothing will happen. Ghanaians, no, kind of they did, but you're ready. Yes, and to what pass a bit of Ghana, no, and you mind, baby, and play. Hey, now make a comment be say or say or my kumono on be revenge.
A reporter CD the Nicodeo say prosecuting case in India.
But Obia or be making agents of size as a police for them that's all military some that's all monko baby. Oh yeah, unim to see police ni and I say so ni. They see an oh yeah nipa me encourage you sex acquire sergeant be name sensible. Why? Because they see a crime can once in me. Why so sarcophobia saba? You advice your people say they should abstain themselves from basabasa MO bia. Omo ni ejapade bia ho sekro ni se no. And the person BBC o. O hwe de esia. Obi so wachi se koye we ya nipa no ase obi e ka no. Omo mani ho. Obi ama ya che omo ticket. Are you ready? Me madam Fubi, ne papa ni ticket are you ready? I can share with you.
Yeah, that's what I'm going baby.
I beto aba na wie na o kuma so ofa plane aba akra. Anase obe driver ni dinaba. Ya tu wie ya that day na enwumre wo tu. Ti so o
kan kra.
Dabi ne papa se tu wie ya onko. Otu ni de wie ya. Otu wie ya omo ba. Eti so wo koni eku a.
Wala. Yo.
Ti nyame ka mo
I think men ko yen ma yen ku because we are na wa na o pese o ye obi say Jerry also if you want to, what do you want to achieve by bringing only MPP people to your show? MPP for one hour so see link na to wa open no have link na we dey me na control call e ko jawajo he say the mama na bro so over Jerry good evening over friend but for come and bra for me if you want to speak because you hu kra over Jerry good evening.
Good evening, Miniava. It's saying
Adomozo
Boko. Afia, and someone may be Casa say Ghanaian. May can't say MPP or NDC or Movement for Change or Chada.
Okay.
No cray won't be an Ayakan. Ghana, you were assumed Kakrana Akano, we are going to enjoy. Comes tomorrow, BBN will be sick. Na near me person me kaka krane say na MPP4 and I say political parties no say ye de ye kwadwo a okay amadia enye one the reason why MPP4 drag afenyo mark drag is asem we ya first of all what's the sense of going to report it to Supreme Court afenyo mark you have never lose your seat who does you member if anything they have to go to the court.
Yeah, but majority leader until he has a stake.
I'm building a point here. Because I'm speaking like Ghanaian. Afenyo market has no business. If anything at all, consortium said this is what is going to happen. You know, you guys, you are still MPP members. But you don't take the matter into your own hands.
No, but you have the right. Constitutional issue there. What about you? Constitutional issue there. Constitution is say if there's any law, as a citizen, which it contravenes any part of the constitution, you can come to the Supreme Court. And being majority leader, and his side is at stake because ruling anybody any say omonya majority bill, so he has a stake. He also has a stake. It will change his position as a majority leader.
As a majority leader, so we were Juma year, and none of your members will decide to run as an independent. Or a first mistake, meaning something went wrong. During primaries, you had 2 MPP4 before, but they didn't listen. You almost this how you know about. Obekai honorable Siama the case in a buy. Tamana Siama a free did MPP fight over it because that and then they were comfortable lead. No, we have more majority. The reason why they are fighting now is because they are one lead. They lead only one person to be majority. It is right now, baby, and all these court they calling a trap and setup. Let's take it to court. Now, Supreme Court in hold the case now. Oh, everyone 7 December. Near to Abana, is done deal. Now, NDC for agenda almost person almost obey no. NDC say so almost back. Say right now, so almost by majority now. First thing they will abolish is e-levy, and then VAT tax no more. And that scared the hell out of scare them. MPP for say if these people become majority, even if it's 2 months, they have the power to change it. And you know, this is where they are fighting for. Everybody is fighting for their own interest. After the market for as a majority leader, on person be a minority leader. It let me fight and hold my position. They should have done the same thing. I see MPP doesn't have problem because now they were more just say they are way ahead. And they never fight until say right now they be 37. And no more see am so fast. And this time no, so who trust Sabia to her? Shawachi. Tamana Michael Kwe, Chief Justice, and something similar happened. I don't know kind. That is why I have my baby car said, me nyani or no year, and then I'm going by the Constitution. I've never done anything wrong. Let's face the fact. He quoted the Constitution, Article 97. And on my clause defended A, C, B, and G. Name not defend they say. But even on my party Constitution, Ankasa is there. So I didn't know my
Okay.
Hosi Kodi Alan Chino, or say he has forfeited the membership. Because what could you be a Chanukra no on now you just to help him campaign and Kramus were free. Now, what difference does it make say be or running as an independent? You see, Omunya double standard ni game no more play no. We are all grown here. Constitution is clearly fair to say. Once they'll be running for independent on your party member, and Agbamba have the right to declare the seat vacant. Oh no, speak of the parliament. It is a Yabeka business for parliament. Okay, Cynthia Morrison, is he going to conduct business in parliament as an MPP and as an
independent? Okay.
It don't make sense. It is an argument. Baby will go down like one of the worst speaker of parliament. That's an unretracted. Wrong because my Kasa say you're a party member. Mundi Okoto and Budra, Nyanya Chedi Faba Mono. Just I say no question. I don't know my fine. At the end of the day, no, they are the same people. No, they should stop all this hula balloon. BBN Besi MPP for at fault. You have lost your 3 members. The seat is vacant now. Therefore, it is your 2 years and a by-election now. As that they will still go to
the Supreme Court can remember
No. The Supreme Court is by some Supreme Court judges were selected handpicked by Kufuado. They are all MPs.
Supreme Court judges.
That is what I'm saying. Said that we should amend that constitution. Say if he has that separation of power, it should work. Now,
president, judges don't. Yeah, man, choose you.
Judges, any referendum. So they have a lot of lawyers. Now,
democracy, your people will be free. Supreme Court judges is selected by the president. But the judges are supposed to apply the law without fear of favor. That's what they are doing. Is handpicked by because the Constitution said any or more America for 400 years democracy.
Let's put it this way: say President Chusu Krana as a judge and as a lawyer. That's what the name title it down. So you're a judge. Who the assumptions on any what kind of create?
What shows they didn't do that? What shows they didn't do that?
Oh, mommy. At some way, that's some question of rule here. They just put it.
It's not a question here relevant. So what shows they didn't do that?
What I'm coming to end there, a delay tactics to delay the matter until the election is over.
But judges will do him saying, you know, what do you expect the judges to do?
The judges should stay away where a parliament has them.
It will be the case. What? You're not being fair to the judges.
No. I don't know. Judges not there no more. If you say BBC Ghana, I'm telling you for a fact. Before no will come from the judge. Almost.
I know. More politicians, you should be bold to call the politicians to order. That is they are sitting there somewhere. They never interfere until you bring the
case. What you do is you sit him down. Hey, Mr. Les.
They won't take court process. But don't crucify the judges.
Me crucify the original
Kitanji disagreed with the majority decision. The judges can never throw the case away if it's a Supreme Court issue. What's the America? Democracy. The democracy we chose, Trump case support. And they say when the president makes decisions when he's in office, Is he liable? Supreme Court of America, he's not liable. They changed completely. But that is the order of the Supreme Court. To Miss Lamo, Mama, my name verified because you see checks and balances. No, when we crucify one arm, you baby a doc no qua. But Mama, my name, yes, sir. There are procedures. When you invoke the original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court, they have no choice but to interpret the law.
This is not interpretation. I feel what have they interpreted?
And now,
they just throw the thing in the bus. When are they coming back to tell us? Assemblies are critical. That is why it's
by force and Kadano call an Omundi case now.
Most you know,
yes, but on my mic, I'll cry, yes, sir. Don't push Ghana.
That is why I make
decision. Come cry,
time now, woman, yes, I deal with. It's not helping anybody.
Perhaps I don't quite. Oh, in their wisdom, they be on my end, because when you see a bit trouble, but you're more rising in the next couple of days. So, into your person be attention back from. When you say, "Dear way, you're trained." More Ghana, better inquisition to the master of execution. Not the case,
yeah. MPP for should start bashing, say Alabama was wrong, and I say Afenyomaku was wrong. Both way, no be excellent, so you're right. Let's leave it like that and wait for Supreme Court if that's what you're saying there. Let's wait for. But what I'm trying to land on, let's say, so Koto and Ibojo Nyanya Trade and Yeshi. Mufle, let's say right now, you are in the tight corner, move the edge. Bibi Keteketa, a premutuma mawie. You're not going to allow this one you way to sleep because you're losing 3 members. So what I say? Timoya Majuma Yankawe, your mommy landed. Almost 3 years it's only 3 people now. Because at the 1 year MPP party is done, they have to reset the whole party. We need a different
resetting.
Almost a bogus if you Obianco. I'm not supporting nobody. Obianco fee.
Yo. But I know about Chama judges because the separation of powers and I'm American Democrats in the blue. The fact that doesn't mean that we should rubbish all the arms of government. Over Fred, good evening. Yes. New one because when him now is papa.
Okay. All right.
Good.
Okay. Anyway, fine. The first time of the program, and I
really yeah.
Okay, right. Thank you for hosting me. Now, the first thing I'm person become so sometimes these are reasons Bimo concept. Sometimes politicians are crooked, because of these kind of things, and we make laws for reasons. We make laws for reasons, and for instance, my partner every year for say 3.5 years, and then all of a sudden the partner say, "Oh, I intend to be dating your friend, in the next 3 months." But meanwhile, I'll be dating your friend. Say I'll be going between you and my friend. I'll be going back and forth between you and the friend. It means I'll be campaigning between now and election day. So when I'm sworn into Parliament, and you're there. So there's a reason why when we said law said, or by 18 years, you can do this XYZ to the LA. Even I can't one day cry and I say, or 10-18 now near BBA, you go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's that one day, you're my credit. So when laws are made, laws are made for a reason why, and we just have to follow the laws. And your friend is saying, because Jessica case, a buy, first time, or 1 year, says Supreme Court the injunction to so.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So
yeah.
He cannot hold himself as a parliamentarian.
Yes.
Up to now, is that case ruled on?
I think
Exactly. But what I'm saying, the first case has not been ruled on. And it's me what America has to say, na me Kogana, na me Jati question case, the same thing. What will happen? What will happen? Say me sorry, and na me American person, na me Kogana, na me say, oh, say, okay, Jati question case. They've not even ruled on that.
But
So
there are previous cases or Papa or the same, but Bokwana Boga MP Nidian, later who no. So that one, the decision was made. They didn't
yeah, but still, no, they have to come. You see, they took the case, no, in a way. So they have to come up with a verdict. But they've not come up with a verdict on that case in a way.
I think they came up with a verdict.
No,
there was another challenge, but there's an original verdict, which is why they ordered for a rerun of the constituency. No?
And then the Supreme Court complains, oh, we need more members on the bench. We need more members. But look at the speed at which they did this thing. But at the same time, there are 2 members in the House waiting for approval. And they say they need, but look at the speed at which they go on to the, and sometimes justice has to be seen, not blind, pick and choose the way you want cases to go and stuff. So for me, I feel like who will contract be, so some of them I say, who bought Manchester. Now we decide this intention, so bought the next club now. You should remember, when you go to the EC, you've registered a marriage with EC, say me a MPP, or me a NDC, until that time. And then all of a sudden, when you go back to ECR, your name it's like, why a double marriage? Why a double marriage? And so there's a reason why that thing was put in place. Finish that. So what would be the punishment in the next parliament for you if you violate what would be the punishment? That means that there's no punishment, Biana. But if you decide to go independent, you know for sure, you cannot stand the next election. You may have to wait a year or something. Before
so said they should expand the rules not to at least clear all
exactly.
these
Say,
areas.
If you decide, you have to finish your term, by then, the nomination would have been over. You wait for a year before you are allowed to run again.
And if you wait for a year, now you come back again. All we need, I will tell you another thing. 4 years and when would the 4 years start?
No, I make us say, and say, me a member of parliament. Now person me running for MPP next year. Now me NDC near. My term ends on December 7th, right?
No, January 6th.
January whatever that ends. I know, I cannot pick nomination again to run for another 4 years. So that alone would deter me from trying to, be flip-flop. Unless you are principal and you say, okay, I can wait 4 years, and this is the party I want to be with. So there's a reason why we make laws. And me Jumana me probation now come one day, now me be born here. They'll fire me. They'll fire me. So that's all I want to comment. I like your show.
Right, thank you. But
I like what you do.
I like the point you're saying. Said the Supreme Court should come and clear some of those gray areas.
Yeah, there are cases that they have to
clear. I think that you America for friend of constitutional violations like Obia or the right of association. It's good that they need to come and clear at least those gray areas so that everybody will know, because you can't stop somebody from joining another party. You as uncomfortable to me changes
but you are free to join, but there are rules. There are rules. Even the parties now, they have their own rules. Say when you join this association, you have to do A, B, C, D. And I say you have to wear my party colors. And now you only have to. So there are rules. I mean, in every endeavor we do, there are rules, and we just have to follow the rules, so that the politicians, they stop telling
us. There's also cross carpeting. People can cross carpet even in parliament. People cross carpet.
Yes. But I know, for instance, say in the US, I've seen when I came to US, I saw so many cross carpet where somebody moves from Republican to Democrat and then change the number in the Senate and stuff like that. And I know there are those things, but if that's what we want to practice, then we should just change the law and say you can do that anytime you want. But there's a reason why that provision is in the Constitution. There's a reason why they put it in there.
Okay.
Because
I think that's why interpretation is very necessary, and that's why the Supreme Court needs to come in where there's any confusion in the law. Or more demand say they interpret, clarify the law. No, be acting on what I say. So, my friend, thank you so much for joining us. And no question, so we appreciate you. Brother, so good evening.
I feel good evening, Oboko there.
Adam also.
Yami Adomo. Not me per se, like, may clarify these things. Say, Oko Parliament, they have their rules of engagement, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Standing orders. I know, my friend.
Exactly. Yes, a Parliament, or a member of Parliament, no one back sitting for, I think, 4 consecutive times. You can be expelled, isn't it?
I mean, say 60 days. I think it's 60 days.
I think 60 days. You can be
without
expelled.
permission. Without
Exactly. I said, Sasso no say, Oba, or standing now be MP in the capacity as a political party. Now, free our party, national co-independent, you automatically cease to be a member of Parliament, which is written.
I don't think it's automatic. I don't think it's automatic. I think that you have to notify Parliament or side, no? Because you are on a side. You have to notify them. Automatic, sir.
But the moment they notify electoral commission say they are standing as independent, you know, automatically they get out of Parliament. I think that's
not necessarily. In the past, no, they've not automatically gotten out of Parliament. In the past, no, more cross capital contest, no, there was not automatic. Except what the Constitution says, oh, free or resign 6 months, then your seat is declared vacant and a by-election is ordered. But in this case, you're less than 6 months, so a by-election cannot be ordered. You understand? So in the past, and what I'm aware of in the past, it hasn't been automatic, sir.
Now, you can say, Yankaya Yawa, Bra, Boache Jaco, West Ayawasu Wagon, or free money. Exactly. Elections, by elections, nobody.
On it was death, and yet cross capital.
Oh, if you are me, who say I do is just political shenanigans. And politics.
Well, not necessarily. The facts are different. What change I could know we and it was more than 6 months to election. So the law, no, what the any clear say on the death of a member of Parliament, if the period no can more than 6 months, a by-election should be conducted and a new MP should be elected.
And I think Babin did what he did because of a precedent. That's what I suspect. Because same thing happened to Manuel Formina Siama issue there. The moment he also called independent, he was expelled. And I think it's a procedure that we all know and parliamentaries know. Say the moment you make your mind that you're going for independence as an independent candidate, you know, you cease to be a member of a party or a parliament. So I think it's just black and white. But I mean, it's just a political shenanigans just to drag and delay process. And it's just acceptance. Members are co-independent and you short our parliament. It's just acceptance. I mean, it's the Supreme Court thing. It's just to drag it. It's just black and white. I do if you're in denying say it's just to delay the process, because parliament or more rules of engagement. Yes, who free party don't buy co-independent. You cease to represent the party, and one no short and who here for any interpretation of the law. This thing is basic.
But obviously, the interpretation to any panel constitution, man, right or Supreme Court. So,
if you are there, go for your file or EC or more co-independent. So, what does it mean? In Ghana, no, dragging in some way because this thing.
Are you saying this will be okay? So, the cocoa among cocoa now.
It's just a waste of time. Where's Adibu? You know, it's just like we know be Trinidad na cocoa just to waste the person's time.
Not necessarily. Obi wants to force a case. Because I know Obi stand a buy and no case seka makoko time na NDC for the kokota. Perhaps and Kebenya standard no clarity no now.
We all know the end of this case because Oba Parliament in Mirema. Yes, you'll be expelled because you are not representing your party again. Because
no, I know automatic, sir. But so not make sure no law. Justice so one can I see the law has a spirit and a letter and is capable of growth. Until the fact say be say law no cry law no say Supreme Court are interpreting it AI. Supreme Court can interpret it different. America a classic example. Roe versus Wade, abortion law no. That over 20 years in America for say obia it's any rules no. Now say I'm master law no it changes. The obviously so okay it's not the court the person also has a right. And yet maybe any person you delay that is
if yeah, but we know that is obviously we are in the political and election season. We know it's obviously shenanigans, and we know even the Supreme Court judges they know what they are about. Or moon their politicians say it is just black and white, and it's predictable what will happen because of the procedures and the rules of engagement. So if you have a job, why?
Yo,
You better to this.
me that's the obanika say me hu say wagina so ache inti because beginning now connecting but ya mo akwaba
Maybe also you near ba.
pagejo
Efia original. Yamisha wo dwuma pa wo ye. Na me the questions na me person me bisa. So MPP members no. They say omo ye MPP members and now omo independent na say party no omo ye members bi o.
I know I don't know.
Yes. Second question is say now say omo koto on the 7th no. Na omo ewi ni a. Kana so omo lusu a. I think anani mutu ebedan. Omo ebeba parliament in the name of what? Because 7 December no more 2 years still say ye ju mutu mo da so ye MPs. The akobe nyina ntokwa na ye ko Supreme Court nyina ye sese nke MPP fi so mo majority e dinko be ko Supreme Court.
I don't maybe not.
Yeah, come on. So enti the akobe nyina ne say obi e pe kwan because NDC nya kwanya na about 2 months no obe majority a. And they say womu transfer kwana say NDC ka say wonya majority or dey ko campaign say even kwana so much to me no. Enti NPP for so amomoni ya na ho. No man penti Supreme Court no mo kono nya say bi omu ko say bi a ye bimudie bi pa no mo kwa akope. Na emom say betumi amasaje process no na mo chances amu motumi edi agina sokwem kan because ade no asay na asay wi enti me question no enti say no Cynthia ne the owo what they say Bema no omu da so ye members for MPP mu ana na so munye members ya edi enti no mu kokku omu Supreme Court
Okay
formina formina or no so say no we independent a no what joining another party. They say the Gina Bias is what they what they say parliament is here or independent or back independent.
Now there be winning Anna. Yes, when in and joining majority, so he's on majority.
Yes, or majority side, but or independent or affiliated to.
Yeah, but now he's on the caucus since you are joining on.
Okay, they say and I was back to the MPP because Omar could declare no. They say no. Were free independent team with the next EBA no or NPP na eba. Enti oman no say the mpenifo ni bi ka say BBNC ne die BBN to me nsi e wo we ho nye we ho na e bebo ma an se bi e den tokwa bi beba oman na ka sa de ba bi egina sese no momi enka no kra ne ye na ada ye ho nka say Ghana ye pa asomdue Liberia no obi ansom bom paye ensen wo baby ene me bi ko no mo ye nka no kure emu aye din na ye bedwedwe ye bo ne ye hunu kwan foforo bi ye befa so aye mfa so this afia nyame nhyira ma me na afoforo zo embra me da se pa
me da se bebe say na to me join here na go bon chat so dem Bra Michael good evening we gina so ache sorry
yeah
good evening also when you need to call very sorry I apologize
good evening Steve good evening
good evening pa saying
Boko
good you too
we juma ho de obre o
sana ti oben de we fan
yembe mu na yebe platform is well sometimes yenka who say enye bibia na anymore na o ka
I raise your voice on ask for voice not to quit I don't know why so because I quit in here
what you mean ga
yes we say the mama me tun ka ti me pen juju ndem
me say yembe mu na yebe platform is well say ka say the name bibia won no more correct ya you should accept it enye bibia na obenim oh can is Master Jerry Obasoko Mesreno. On Jamoyano, now about platforms or Casa, on go straight to the point.
Then I just am yeah.
Kreja Pono go din, you know. Oh no, why you mama? Still, MPP. Over credit before MPP. Why?
I think so. Canadian, yes, or the Kennedy will before no.
Oh, correct, but I still don't want to listen. Oh, correct, but I don't want to listen. Who said Supreme Court? Supreme Court. You are blaming the Supreme Court, but you are not blaming Babi. You say Babi have the right to our rights are declared, you know. But who blames you? Because I don't know the Assembly Court. It's a man I woman who obeyed Assembly Court. American, you know. Sabi ya sorry ya ya persona. I don't mind just some politics. Let's go straight to the point. So because different candidates it have nothing to do with a majority or minority leader. And then your party executives will. But when it's a parliamentary issue, and all now we move Bemunu, leaders in Bemunu. What you see? Oh, if you share, you can say, assume you say, Magokwe, the time, oh yes, I'm mistaken. People bash me, boy. Oh yes, I declare. People bash him. I'm saying the right thing. So why should we repeat the same mistake again? Why should we repeat the same mistake again? Babin, fine. Also do draw constitution or the declares how they will know. The question is time is it necessary? Well, Sylvia, question is timing is it necessary? At this point,
at this point, Kababa been taking decision, Anna.
Oh, well, I'm not being necessary, between necessary. And this is for no. This is someone focus on how to win the election. Campaign mayor and then majority at this age and a year day. Say
I don't standard. If you are setting the standard for China democracy.
Oh, Xavier, it doesn't necessary. The unnecessary tension about my name. Okay. And then necessary tension. I can't want to go to election. Go to Aba. It doesn't mean. Oh. Baby, no. Mama or a leader or our parliament. Mama politics ni partner of film then cutting him too much. Wow. Koye about is here. If you are getting so many is here. Babin, I put a close to know.
I don't think that's what Babin intended to do. He according to him, no, so quoted parliamentary standard, no, rules, no, and also Jinas. I don't think so. Only the NS% of quality. He was only in the best interest.
Marco did the same thing. Did the same thing. People bash him say, why way?
But not just say they are any wrong. People bash him. And not the first time people bash him just say, hey, Babin was wrong. He's also
okay, fine. Okay, the same constitution, no. And no be who said no. Because Steph, you are a practicing lawyer. What do we say? Where can say it should be war. Who do call two lawyers anymore? Obiani interpretation. Obiani na dream. Into why a ruling no being tia so the common court. But nobody in Panaye. And the court can't say constitutional trials now. We are ruling. Yes.
But my microphone isn't here. I jam a microphone. But I think that to be fair, Babin complaining about judgment, no. Minority phone been ekasa, but Babin has not spoken on complaining about judgment.
Okay, thank you for correcting me on complaining. Into your channel, you share the ABC channel. Said Babin will still say no, all the judges in Adria, all the court in Adria. Then you have a kind of saying. Why is it here?
Yes, that's it. What the end I pennies from Jebana escalate because then I'm here into the mechanic. There are also people outside or more market time say BBC no may take advantage to take over Ghana. And we don't want that to see. What about Gideon Bajo? Good evening.
Fine, you Marcia. Now what you say?
Adam Bajo say.
You ask your own pa Bonibia. I am Yamenka on a Juma Yeneso. Aye. Sanya one guy now come a casa. Nadia said, oh, sister, as some of your canon, name who said Ghana no. Ye pesem raye juma. Ba obi super so farm rano kwan so a na ya san nya ho problem ntiase. E say we ya bai sanko court na we si map ni we si mempenia. Na kwaye ntokwa mfa so ni so. eti court na we di akọ court no na be gina mam ye hu sampa de omo ka no e wo ma na enim e court no fa mu e bi amai court no se mon twen de mo ye no na bre no so na ye di mu e no ba ye hu de beto se obi ka se bra aka nusa enti no de omo ye no fa so ni so fa so wo so pa se de odi ka kan boa ya tenetene ye democracy no ama go china ne se obi ko akoye bibia wa hu se de yeso osie without the obi ti say jachi kwesi asemi beto a obi kwa akoye bibi sai na obadinu hu se papa ekoye no the problem we ba intimi so ochina no me nkoye sa mistake ni bio the court no de ye na esie ya ye ke se mami Cynthia Morris ni omo si omo eko ayi se nke se ochina no mo aka se da bi ekra na ka se ekoye jaya na sa abre no wo si wa yi na free parliament ya ni constituency no mo to abama ni betina on se na hwan sa 2 months ya ke hwan na o gina wo manen me question no ni ya to abana ma no constitution so no mo gina na yi nipa se we me gina ya na e just yes 2 months ni yi o mo to ba na so mo ni obi a obeka sa ma o mo eti no emra ne de ye nyina ye moa na emra ne ye bana na mitie afanyo mark wo kokroko so osi wono de one na ikokosi nyina waka achom enya de se omde ntokwa bia ye bibia enti omukọ na se speaker kase omo ntena ha de ombe ya so ombe work free parliament wo ko si se mra na nkasa be ba be ye na adwuma ti se mra no ba enti wono de wa hyebo kwa msifa ken obusa mprense wo se kwa me ye nya de ye be ye bibia ebi se ono no wo hwese obekwa akoye bibi ochina na ne ba abebusa te dada ada na akọ parliament koye ewe nti no ne otu na nkrofo no pese ma obia enye dede eti no omo mfa mra kwan so ebisa mra ne de chichire o man mra so ne de eko seze ye kase nkana na adu ne de tumi na ma ada na adu no megina ho se de ba bia kan menti ase matu agu ontimi nya ne sa
ontumi
eti anti ya chichire bibia ye nyina de kwose Supreme Court no eti mi de mi fi se sa kwan na ye nyina o man no ye mboa na ye mfa so nti really no ba na se ekọ benkum ananifa ne nyina so agya tumboko ebi se obi ko bokro no a enko nso ne pe no so se owi ade no de ahwe no na nso mra ne nkyire sa nti yesi kokodem ndi na mase mo ka nyina ne se yesre obi bia se omoma mra no enteki ne course
in fact opening before we kon na ya mo say speaker post bibi o social media once na me ka say speaker and kata but just now so we post comment on social media say I'm sure you know be mo say am go for kasa be say speaker hint say ochina okwa the Supreme Court can on fine adwuma so there's a story even on Ghana web that says that the speaker has shared a post on social media ahead of the meeting in the House on Tuesday, October 22nd. Mr. Babin, in a post on Facebook, wrote that God bless our homeland Ghana and make it great and strong beyond any single individual or institution. Any institution or individual. Now, and for speculation, and I just said, the Supreme Court I cannot find you.
So I'm fine, yes, man. Cry. I find your market, so Sunday no more taking me visa. So almost how among Quacoon Omobe, say, well, I'm fine, yes, Juma. Some raffle fruit, I say a different swap near the idea, they are passing to me. Miss Wazza, Mama Ghana, young and I am farmer, and go charity, Emra, and Nachi idea. Who could our car, as you balance is doing to Minka? I'm passing. Intimidate, Miss Leslie. Yen na bo ne mamra ni taking the course.
Yo, what about my minute to be yo. I'm back with my too.
A very good evening, Nathan. My enjoyable discussion and the Parliamentary trial. I'm forget on a cousin, Democrat in Kaka. And this is also that say, one of what can say, what the show knows or can over join the backer. What's going to happen? Well, easier, what print notice or pull AV. In that, what print notice or pull, so that means it's fine. And I may be wrong. You might know.
I'm not sure. I don't know that. What I don't know, I will not
the
say.
Reason why they print notice of poll is that it's finalized. That is why NDC Fujina open will take action. Why disqualify one member be or Wasaho baby. Okay. Quick question. In all these things, them who first time calling or Ben or can't see me now. This is all politics. We all know. Next, call it the business na for your markings in the China. So what? Not they work out. Why would they work out? Because they know that they don't have a case. It's as simple as that. Man, Simona do. If and there, 2 months to election, MPP with him. We can't number them. But 2 months to election, MPP with him. What happens? Would they still be majority or they will be minority? These are technicalities. In any case, the speaker hasn't even spoken. It is in Kwafu Bana say, speaker. It's their own issue. They've had issue with Bagman right from the word go. So I'm not surprised that people like Nanaya were attacking the speaker. You attack for no reason. And the tweet here, what making or institution. Once again, you said the speculation. Institution can be the parliament. It can be Supreme Court. It's not necessarily there. So in all these things, I will just say that we have to wait till extra outcome. And in Kofupi, and the started like say as a peace council, peace council what can simply it's a phone portrait. So one other politician I can be on fight. Atibia.
I read some text message introduction time and I'm there late.
Them all those text messages, you know. Oh yeah, screen somebody's chat, but why a chatter, parliamentary caucus. No, I've seen a couple of it. But what are they saying that people's kids should go and fight or they'll go and cause commotion at parliament? And sometimes I may be an advocate for these things because I don't rely on speculation. It could be anybody's putting out said information out there. I can decide to believe it or to believe it. But I personally don't believe that a private conversation between a group of people should be made public. Do you get it? If not for political expediency, if not for a political reason, we are a group of people. We are deciding, we are planning on what we want to do. If it comes out, why do you have to make it public? Only a second issue. But I don't believe the MPs themselves, they want to cause any commotion in the parliament. Parliament. It's simple. They are institutions. We have the legislature, the judicial, and the executive. These are three different bodies altogether. Again, the parliament, they have their standing orders. They have their rules. So if make it rules, maybe phobia that to me, the membrane bra. That's a summer be fear some man casamon brenna, yam brenna yashen. Yazaka kasama. Why then do you need an outsider to come and tell me the mayor them and I'm in them? It's simple. Let's break it down very, very simple. Mom can chat HRC. But the man to be crying. If there's something that has going on in the media, and we started the show program, snippets around. Nobody is calling for a coup in Ghana. Nobody is ready for a coup in Ghana. So let us not even, because in someone comfortable, the more they hear it, it stimulates them. You are not
on the ground. You are not the security agency, so you are completely cut off from what is going on in Ghana. If security people are alerting there, this is what is going on now. How are you saying that nobody is calling?
The security people are alerting. Why would they alert? The security, they have machines, they have the machinery, they have the expertise to deal with it. Do you get it? So if they see somebody trying to foment any trouble, or there's an area that is capable of fomenting trouble, the security doesn't have to come out and tell me that, no, go there, do your job there. Because I don't want to hear, the next person don't want to hear. Besides, it's not causing fear and panic. But because what's no one share, I bet you know Mom can I say these are the things. In some them because of causing fear and panic, it's tantamount to that. Because fine, and with the security breaches, deal with the security breaches. Don't tell everybody because we go out not come to
the media won't deal with the security, Anna.
Oh, the security is not. No, why would the security even tell the media?
They are not telling us. It's a report. U.S. offend the department, state Homeland Security report, State Department. They've reported on what is. You are the only stranger in paradise. You are the only person who doesn't know. So many reports have captured about how volatile West Africa is. Ghana is in West Africa.
I'm not saying I don't know.
And if you talk about it, it's fear and panic.
No, you are misunderstanding me. I'm not saying that I shouldn't talk about the way. Why is it that anytime I come out, no, I have my own opinion. So I'm not challenging you. Don't make it seem like I'm challenging you.
No, I'm not saying anything, Pocho.
Yeah, in my opinion, fine. Why can't there's a tendency. There's a tendency. The more we hear about it, the more people's mind goes on it. That's what I'm trying to say. If there's a tendency for it to happen now, there's something that has to be done to be taken care of. Ma'am, can I say? So that is it. For some of the what happens will happen. Is nothing is going to happen. Election, the tension and everything. We've seen worse tension than this. Nothing is going to happen in Ghana. I'm telling you for a fact.
Okay, but the media will continue to talk about the security issues because it's something that and then media is I think security experts both internally and externally speak about the West Africa careful. Ghana is the key force in West Africa. So nobody can decide for the media what they should talk about, whether it's fear and panic or not. It's up to the police to decide. But these are facts on the ground. And Ghanaians are all talking about coup d'etat nowadays. So it's not, it doesn't lie in you alone, your mouth to say that Obiala Nke. And Nana, you want to good evening, Nana.
Good evening, Sister Fia.
Nana, but you
in the camp, it was a say, maybe I'll be treat you no, Mamma Biana.
Mamma Bia.
Now the whole police station you want, because it's sunny now, they be a haunt to Casa, mechanical school or baby.
Hotspot.
Because any one I cow could you want.
Yeah, how could you want and say,
your school, our Jack and Jay or no. So, Mrs. School Bass now. She's all the school because over Nancy for Calculia go far bridge and sister, I could be 37. I said, I can't to me dinner and a better school prep because
police station will have maybe a hotspot near now home management. No, and it happened out of the blue. Oh, and the police won't him say, Bessie. By the time police no do, and I'm confident, Johnny. Who's the police car about Johnny? Hey,
government on your amnesty now okuta no do na hand over because na
over the years the journalist abayaka and so people don't want to hand over the
because preset basabasa besi Ghana yes shemo Ghana yen na ya dio yes shemo enye NDC ni NPP for kwandia yen na ya dia me kai me ba UK first sabena mini huma me yese me kodi aduro because who are broflo ya bi me do yese we kwa na ya tro na asem na ya any age ne fa we am do na lawyers be me nsa betra we dem de betwam keke na oba ba ko ma mienu no ma fa no ma yesi o so betro na de we bisa me nationality me si Ghana ho ano mu nyina hya ase esre na me ma mienu no ma to mu fa alim no mo ko na aka oba no
o me je se mu ni case ya Ghana de mu ni se Ghana ya
ma mo den no si o unye bibia na Ghana de case we new asam edimpa because United Nations, European Union, UK, Canada, Ghana to say Ghana is the most peaceful country in the world. I'm not saying sorry. Say we should any case go in the corner. Government may fight to work with Supreme Court to my tea. Yeah, let's see Ghana as a white list nation. Omonkasa government, no person who go for to come back Africa. I'm recommend Ghana. The mom say Ghana a place of Mumbra. It's yes, around for power. I know a cassan, so I know you also sack of Shasemba. Timumun jazz basabasa and a fine because some more person moon basabasa. I'm there. Mumbusa and this for no one show basabasa history from 1979. I'm by almost about 1981. Yama, I mean, if they bring one wire geomusica, say a man here for this car fire pet. From there, military rule. Oh, a bonus. No one time mobile phone test. No case mobile phone come Musa Bekuta. You may be big mom, no minimum. Enti yes, I'm fasa. Buy I-81, almost try so akwa 92. Na here constitution no. Ya constitution say if favor politicians no. Enti wo kwa gidi bi na vote ya. Ya vote ku kwa. Ono sebi corrupt a wo ni evidence bi kwa kan so corrupt. Onye fi aban so a constitution na no ho ban. Na wo den ne bo ho ban. When you some cry over court, no who's coming out of a lawyer. And this is UK and now is Ghana by a lawyer. No. Then a woman.
Ghana fear where your legal aid or home, Bema, Banco for name.
Oh, Papa, baby.
Oh, yeah. I'm not releasing of baby.
Okay, a good cry behind to say overseas Genebia, Sebi, Yemuno. And yes, you to know, Omadiana won't calm down. Now, events and this near NPP, yeah, they are initially, Omania. Initially, because look what to my planta, Omini, who got to my shed at Omini, and they are Sanko for me, young to your now, events constitution now, events or one, Mr. Bagbo says, Speaker of Parliament to Dinaso. Yeah, I was saying, yeah, I can't wait now, be a political lawyer, be what church because you would be and Tiasia. Really, the RTIT, that's why I say when this very majority. Because speaker say.
Yeah, standing orders or the man standing orders parliamentary.
Yeah, but I think say the reason why I detention happen say the time no because that time no omutimi come by election bia how what they say na bia na MPP for so program bia person pass it through parliament in 10 na omudi kwaje vote and I be say bia anything bia the tension but I don't think say both parties no. Also, they have to be very necessary about this majority and minority with this short-term period. If I so be so, because at the end of the day, you know, very soon the parliament will be dissolved. You go back to your constitution and fight and come back again. The majority, minority. If I so be so at this moment, no, if I so be they should just calm down and calm the public down and let Ghana be safe, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
And this is what happened. The last time in Parliament, inaugurated a new Parliament. No, the more to about at the same time. I'm Babi, I selected Babi. No, the soldiers now almost Brown. They stormed the place, trying to secure the speaker, secure the clerks, so that no chaos will come because they're almost to about for Parliament speaker. No, to see. I may be correct ballot paper crowd. So when people say nothing will happen, something has happened. You're supposed to throw a Ghana parliament that. Until you will be painting a say about the background where in any other channel. Something has happened before, and I don't know if it's a coup as you are Ghana down. So we shouldn't kid ourselves. Then any other people were saying Ghana no. Yeah, coupon doors and snow Liberia and Cote d'Ivoire. So we have to be intentional about protecting the peace and security that we have. What I say. This is Parliament, Ghana Parliament, no. And I get the airport here. Ubiako shum ballot box will be some Ubiako it happened live and colored in Ghana. We were all shocked. The military men had to be called from what they had. The distance between Burma camp, Burma camp 37 in the Parliament. They had to be called to snoop in. And that is serious. Brown, green for a military officer. So we shouldn't kid ourselves. So Ghana BBC na ya pet a one drone before it's too late. BBC Ghana Parliament. I could say if you forget about legal aid, it works only for those who can afford. There's a lie. A friend Chumesi and Agbesi legal aid into Agbesi was charged with robbery and wrongfully convicted. Legal aid into pay for fans man on I think 30,000 and no they any business. He was incarcerated. Yeah, they told us what I say, don't spread negative news saying as legal aid and perfect. Ghana omuniska. So very resourced, but they are doing their best. And the men come and go baby and go legal aid in John Campbell say this is why we need both the military and the police in Parliament just to keep order or also need view no. And actually Opokuno say if you are those MPs. Are they on the ballot sheet as MPP or NDC or independent? I think they are going as independent. And some dogs say on the Okan BBI say NDC will win the elections. Now MPP must be blamed for the echo so John Campbell one was sending message we have, but I've read that previous message. Charles Red no say John Kuma wuye. his seat was declared vacant, and NDC and majority. Into more beyond that than home. I just have to quite the seat now be vacant. And so they should put those issues in perspective. Now says incredible. So people are planning to cause commotion, and the security should not the media should not let people know. I say now kind because people ought to know what is happening in their country. London Bullion saying, John Campbell, please get abreast with the issue. What in legal issue, the technicalities. So one theater, they be about nothing. No, my commentary. They completely outside the law. What I say, into also no comment or but Eric Pope say Ghana as a country is sick, and unfortunately, the medication to heal it is in the custody of the leaders. Okay, also Ghana, you don't say the best Ghana, you to leaders so, and some now country so leaders no and share that 80. Future leaders or say NDC MPP now, more the Ghana so 32 years. Hey, ain't ye any ana. Just for yourself to appreciate. I'm listening to you with keen interest because the country is broke. Or I think country broke or country no broke. We day inside. It's also day inside maybe too. Tony said this is not a waste of time. Most of our laws have not been tested. Until obi the case court. I am for so no case in court because I know and every boy I may say law nasi and in maybe a bit me a boy ma and near I edumane muso ada ho clear and they ama Ghana for you. Eric Pope say thank you for this show and it's been a very fantastic show. But Dr. Baku said, Dr. Ernest, another prayer or savior. Michael Busan said, is it necessary for the Supreme Court to intervene in what is going on? Is it necessary for the Supreme Court to intervene going by what you are saying? Well, Supreme Court won't intervene or in a baby. Any case come on, don't let us get it twisted. The Supreme Court has not intervened. One how do case that come Supreme Court say? Baby interpreting lobby. One and nyadi, would you say it's a constitution into a muncheche mumma until the Supreme Court without in the bed one or no can them. What the watch and command and a Supreme Court the can be. So because in assembly upon a bit with the Supreme Court. What I say, huh? Obviously, I buy the law issues no and yes simple sir. Into one theater now ko ye gidi wa bonti na oh how. Thank you so much for joining us. Any production to Mr. Johansson. DOP Edibedi Akone DJ All Black Nedi production bro. It has been live on OK 101.7 FM. So any Case Jersey Radio, High Life Radio, Naspa Radio, Adamfopa Media, and Migacho FM. So we are across everywhere around the globe. You know, lady. Good night. Nothing should happen in Ghana. Nothing should happen in Ghana. Not as of the after all. That should even be something that I say I didn't cost watch now. Parliament we are paying 200 million Ghana cedis for ex-gratia. 200 million. This kaketwa 200 million. Ex-gratia and Yokotia. It can do so much. I'm a Ghana boy saying so that we are not blinded by the politicking. Politicians say so what I say. That's Charlie Opoku. Thank you so much. Why? Thank you so much, John Campbell. Nyakopo Yadman next week. Good night.